Earth was a prison planet all along. The revelation strikes Joseph Walker like a thunderbolt as he stands transfixed on the rooftop of a Chicago apartment building. The sky above him crackles with energy, a prelude to the arrival of thousands of alien ships. Their massive forms materialize in orbit, blotting out the sun and casting ominous shadows across the planet. Joseph, a 35-year-old former Special Forces operative, watches in disbelief as the invasion unfolds. His military training kicks in, assessing the situation with practiced efficiency. The streets below erupt into chaos as panicked crowds flood out of buildings, their eyes drawn to the projected holograms of alien beings appearing on every screen and surface. The aliens identify themselves as the Caitians, a feline-like species from a distant star system. Their leader, Supreme Commander Celeste, addresses humanity with a voice that reverberates through the very air. "Inhabitants of Earth," she intones, "we are your wardens. For millennia, your planet has served as a cosmic penitentiary, housing the most dangerous and unpredictable species in the galaxy." The words hang in the air, heavy with implications. Joseph's mind races, connecting dots he never knew existed. The Caitians explain their role as designated guardians, tasked with containing humanity's destructive potential. As he processes this earth-shattering information, Joseph's tactical mind shifts into overdrive. Earth's defenses are woefully inadequate against such advanced technology. Sirens wail in the distance as Joseph makes his way down from the rooftop. He moves with purpose, navigating through the panicked masses toward a secret government bunker beneath the city. The streets are a maelstrom of fear and confusion, with people pointing at the sky and shouting in disbelief. Joseph reaches the bunker, using his high-level clearance to gain entry. Inside, he encounters a group of high-ranking officials and military personnel frantically trying to formulate a response. The atmosphere is tense, filled with the rapid-fire exchange of information and barked orders. The bunker's advanced sensors light up, detecting multiple Kaition landing parties touching down in major cities across the globe. A general turns to Joseph, recognition flashing in his eyes. "Walker, we need you," he says, his voice tight with urgency. Joseph is quickly briefed on a classified project codenamed Prometheus, a last-resort weapon designed to repel extraterrestrial threats. The irony of its name is not lost on him. A tool to free humanity from its cosmic jailers. Communication networks begin to fail as the Caitians implement their takeover. Reports stream in of alien forces rounding up human leaders and establishing a planet-wide lockdown. Time is running out. The general fixes Joseph with a steely gaze. "Walker, you're our best shot. We need you to lead a team to retrieve the Prometheus device from a hidden facility in the Rocky Mountains." Joseph nods, his mind already formulating strategies. He quickly assembles a small team of operatives, each chosen for their unique skills. As they prepare to depart, the weight of their mission settles on their shoulders. They must navigate through a world in turmoil, evading both alien patrols and desperate human survivors. The fate of humanity now rests on their ability to reach the Prometheus device and unlock its power. Joseph checks his gear one last time, his jaw set with determination. They have to succeed before the Caitians complete their takeover and seal Earth's prison for good. The hunt for humanity's freedom begins now. Joseph's team moves swiftly through the bunker, gathering essential supplies and equipment for their mission. The general's words echoed in their minds as they prepared to venture into a world turned upside down. With a final nod to the remaining personnel, Joseph led his squad out of the relative safety of the underground facility and into the chaos-filled streets of Chicago. The team consisted of Major Sarah Young, a cybersecurity expert with short-cropped blonde hair and piercing blue eyes. Dr. Marcus Rodriguez, a brilliant xenobiologist whose curiosity about the Caitians was evident even in this dire situation. And Joseph himself, his years of Special Forces training evident in every measured movement. They made their way to a nondescript parking garage where a stealth transport vehicle awaited them. The sleek, matte black vehicle was designed to evade both conventional and advanced detection systems. As they approached, Joseph noticed Sarah's fingers twitching, itching to interface with the vehicle's sophisticated onboard computer. "Let's move," Joseph ordered, his voice low and steady. "We need to be out of the city before the Cations establish a full lockdown." The team piled into the vehicle, with Joseph taking the wheel. As they emerged from the garage, the full extent of the invasion became clear. Massive Kytion ships loomed overhead, their hulls reflecting the glow of fires that had broken out across the city. Streams of panicked civilians clogged the streets, making navigation a challenge. Joseph expertly maneuvered through back alleys and lesser-known routes, his intimate knowledge of the city proving invaluable. As they reached the outskirts of Chicago, the urban sprawl gave way to open highways. For a moment, it seemed they might make a clean getaway. That hope was short-lived. "Kytion checkpoint ahead," Marcus announced, peering through a pair of high-tech binoculars. "They've set up some kind of energy barrier across the highway." Joseph's grip tightened on the steering wheel. Options. Sarah pulled up a holographic map of the area. "There's a forest to our east. If we can make it there, we might be able to slip past on foot." With a sharp turn, Joseph steered the vehicle off the highway and onto a narrow dirt road. They drove as far as they dared before the terrain became too treacherous. "This is where we get out and go dark," Joseph said, killing the engine. They quickly gathered their gear, each member taking only what was essential for survival and mission success. As they prepared to enter the forest, the distant hum of Kytion ships served as a constant reminder of the danger they faced. The team moved silently through the dense undergrowth, their progress slow but steady. Hours passed, and the first hints of dawn began to color the sky. It was then that Marcus spotted something through the trees, a structure that didn't belong in the wilderness. "Over there," he whispered, pointing. "Looks like an old ranger station." As they approached, they realized the station wasn't abandoned. Hushed voices and the occasional glint of metal suggested the presence of other humans. Joseph signaled for caution, and they crept closer. Suddenly, a voice rang out. "Stop right there. Identify yourselves." Joseph raised his hand slowly. "We're human. We're not here to cause trouble." A moment of tense silence followed before a man emerged from the shadows of the ranger station. He was tall and lean, with graying hair and the bearing of someone used to command. "I'm Jack Harper, former NASA engineer. Who are you, and what are you doing out here?" Joseph quickly assessed the situation. This encounter could either be a significant setback or an unexpected boon to their mission. He decided to take a calculated risk. "I'm Joseph Walker. We're on a mission to retrieve a device that might help us against the Cations. It's called Prometheus." Jack's eyes widened at the mention of Prometheus. He glanced back at the station, then to Joseph's team. "You'd better come inside. There's something you need to know." As they entered the station, Joseph noticed a group of about a dozen survivors, a mix of park rangers and hikers who had sought refuge when the invasion began. Jack led them to a small office in the back. "Prometheus isn't just a weapon," Jack explained, his voice low. "It's a multifunctional tool designed to manipulate gravitational fields and generate localized wormholes. I was part of the team that developed it." Sarah leaned forward, her interest piqued. "You're saying it could do more than just repel the Cations?" Jack nodded. "In theory, it could allow us to escape Earth entirely if necessary." The implications of this revelation hung heavy in the air. Joseph's mind raced with the possibilities, but he forced himself to focus on the immediate task. "We need to reach the facility in the Rockies," he said. "Can you help us?" Jack reached into a drawer and pulled out an encrypted datapad. "I can do better than that. I have the schematics and operational details right here. And if you'll have me, I want to join your team." Joseph exchanged glances with Sarah and Marcus. Having Jack's expertise could be crucial to their mission success. "Welcome aboard," he said, extending his hand. As Jack shook it, a low rumble shook the station. They rushed to the windows to see massive energy domes descending over distant cities, cutting them off from the outside world. "They're isolating population centers," Marcus observed, his scientific mind already analyzing the implications. Joseph's face hardened with tenacity. "Then we need to move fast. Gear up, everyone. We're heading for Denver." As the team prepared to leave the relative safety of the ranger station, the true scale of their mission began to sink in. They weren't just fighting for Earth anymore. They were fighting for humanity's very existence. As the team prepared to leave the relative safety of the ranger station, a crackling transmission came through on Jack's encrypted datapad. It was from Sarah and Marcus, who had managed to establish a secure connection. "Joseph, we've infiltrated a Kytion command center in Denver," Sarah's voice came through, tinged with static. "The situation is worse than we thought. They're planning to terraform Earth." Joseph's lips pursed as he processed this new information. "How long do we have?" "Months at most," Marcus chimed in. "We're working on a countermeasure, but you need to get to Prometheus ASAP." With renewed urgency, Joseph turned to his expanded team. "Let's move out. Every second counts." The group set out into the wilderness, their path illuminated by the faint glow of dawn. Jack's knowledge of the terrain proved invaluable as they navigated through dense forests and steep ravines. However, their progress was soon halted by the whine of Kytion patrol ships overhead. "Take cover," Joseph hissed, pulling Jack behind a large boulder. The team held their breath as the alien vessel passed overhead, its searchlights sweeping the ground. Once the danger had passed, they continued their journey, moving with increased caution. As they crested a hill, Joseph spotted movement in the valley below. He signaled for the team to halt and took out his binoculars. Through the lenses, he saw a group of armed humans engaged in what appeared to be a firefight with Kytion forces. "Looks like we're not the only ones fighting back," Jack whispered. Joseph made a split-second decision. "We're going to help them. It could be our best chance at getting through this area undetected." They made their way down the hillside, using the cover of trees to approach the battle. As they neared, Joseph could make out a woman barking orders to the human fighters. Her gray hair was cut short, and she moved with the precision of a seasoned soldier. When they were close enough, Joseph called out, "Friendly approaching. Don't shoot." The woman spun around, her rifle trained on Joseph's group. "Identify yourselves," she demanded. "I'm Joseph Walker. We're on a mission to retrieve a weapon that could turn the tide against the Cations." The woman's eyes narrowed. "Colonel Miranda Hawkins. Prove you're human." Joseph slowly reached into his pocket and pulled out his military ID. Colonel Hawkins examined it closely before lowering her weapon. "What's this weapon you're after?" she asked. "It's called Prometheus," Jack interjected. "I helped develop it. It's our best hope against the invasion." Colonel Hawkins considered this for a moment, then nodded. "All right, we'll provide escort to wherever this Prometheus is. But first, help us deal with these Kytion patrols." Joseph and his team joined the firefight, their combined efforts quickly overwhelming the alien forces. As the last Kytion fell, Colonel Hawkins turned to Joseph. "Now, where are we headed?" "The Rocky Mountains," Joseph replied. "There's a hidden facility there." The combined group set out towards the mountains, with Colonel Hawkins' fighters providing additional security. They moved swiftly, aware that time was not on their side. As they neared the mountain range, Joseph's comm unit crackled to life. It was Sarah again. "Joseph, we've discovered something. The Cation's tech has a weakness. It's vulnerable to specific EM frequencies." We're working on an EMP device to exploit it. Good work, Joseph replied. We're almost at the facility. Keep us updated. The team pressed on, the looming peaks of the Rockies growing closer with each step. However, their progress came to an abrupt halt when they reached a narrow valley. At its mouth stood a Kytion outpost, its energy shield shimmering in the sunlight. Damn, Colonel Hawkins muttered. That's our only way through to the facility. Joseph surveyed the alien defenses, his mind racing. We need a distraction, something big enough to draw their attention, while a small team slips past. Colonel Hawkins nodded, a grim smile on her face. Leave that to us. We'll give you one hell of a fireworks show. As the resistance fighters prepared for their assault, Joseph turned to Jack. You're with me. We'll make a run for the facility while they keep the Caitians busy. The air filled with tension as they waited for Hawkins' signal. When it came, it was impossible to miss. A series of explosions rocked the Kytion outpost, followed by the sounds of gunfire and alien energy weapons. Now! Joseph shouted, and he and Jack sprinted towards the valley entrance. They were halfway through when a stray energy blast caught Jack in the leg. He stumbled, crying out in pain. Joseph didn't hesitate. He hoisted Jack onto his shoulders and continued running, his muscles straining under the added weight. They made it past the distracted Kytion forces and into the relative safety of the mountain passes. Joseph found a small cave and ducked inside, carefully setting Jack down. How bad is it? Joseph asked, examining the wound. Jack grimaced. I'll live, but I won't be winning any races. Joseph pulled out a medkit and began treating Jack's injury. As he worked, he couldn't help but notice the increased Kytion activity in the skies above. They know we're here, Joseph muttered. They must have figured out where the facility is. Jack nodded grimly. Then we'd better get moving. We can't let them reach Prometheus first. With Jack's wound stabilized, they set out again, moving as quickly as Jack's injury would allow. The facility's location was burned into Jack's memory, guiding them through the treacherous mountain terrain. After what felt like hours of grueling travel, they finally spotted it, a sleek, almost invisible structure built into the side of a mountain. But their hearts sank as they saw Kytion ships converging on the area. We're cutting it close, Jack said, his breath coming in ragged gasps. They stumbled towards the facility's entrance, the sounds of battle echoing behind them as Colonel Hawkins and her fighters engaged the Kytion forces. Joseph supported Jack as they reached the door, only to find it sealed by an advanced security system. Can you open it? Joseph asked, his eyes darting between Jack and the approaching Kytion troops. Jack nodded, his fingers already dancing across the control panel. Give me a minute. Joseph took up a defensive position, firing at the oncoming aliens. The air crackled with energy blasts as he fought to keep them at bay. Any time now, Jack, Joseph shouted over the din of battle. With a hiss of hydraulics, the facility's doors began to slide open. Joseph grabbed Jack and half-carried him inside, sealing the entrance behind them just as the Kytion forces reached their position. They found themselves in a vast, dimly lit chamber filled with technology beyond their comprehension. As they moved deeper into the facility, lights flickered on, revealing row upon row of strange devices and computer terminals. Jack limped over to what appeared to be the central console and began typing furiously. A holographic display sprang to life, filling the air with swirling patterns of light. My God, Jack breathed, his eyes wide with wonder. Joseph, this is it. Prometheus isn't just a weapon. It's the key to unlocking humanity's true potential. As the hologram coalesced into a recognizable form, Joseph stared in awe at the device before them. It was clear that Prometheus was far more than they had ever imagined, and that figuring out how to use it would be their greatest challenge yet. As Joseph stared at the holographic representation of Prometheus, A sudden klaxon blared through the facility. Red warning lights flashed, bathing the chamber in an eerie glow. Jack's fingers flew across the console, bringing up a series of tactical displays. "The facility's defense systems have activated," Jack announced, his voice tense. "Kytion forces are closing in fast." Joseph's military instincts kicked in as he assessed the holographic battle map. Dozens of red dots representing Kytion units converged on their position from multiple angles. "How long do we have?" Jack's face was grim. "Minutes at best." "They're moving faster than I anticipated." Joseph's mind raced, weighing their options. They needed more time to understand Prometheus, but they couldn't let it fall into Kytion hands. "Can you get it operational?" Jack's fingers danced across the controls. "I think so, but—" "Joseph, this isn't just a weapon. It's a network of systems designed to unlock human potential. The implications are staggering." As Jack worked, Joseph noticed one of the systems powering up. "What's happening?" "It's the first subsystem," Jack explained, his eyes wide with excitement and fear. "It's designed to enhance human physical abilities, strength, speed, healing. But someone needs to test it." Joseph didn't hesitate. "Do it. Use it on me." Jack looked up, startled. "Are you sure? We don't know what it might do to you." "We don't have time to debate this," Joseph said, stepping towards a glowing apparatus. "If it can give us an edge against the Cations, we have to try." Jack nodded and initiated the sequence. Energy tendrils snaked out from Prometheus, enveloping Joseph in a cocoon of light. The pain hit immediately, searing through every cell in his body. Joseph gritted his teeth, fighting the urge to scream as he felt his physiology changing, evolving at an accelerated rate. When the process finished, Joseph stumbled forward, gasping. He felt different, stronger. His senses seemed sharper, the world around him in hyperfocus. He could hear the individual heartbeats of Kytion soldiers approaching outside, smell the ozone from their energy weapons. "It worked," Joseph breathed, flexing his hands. "Jack, this is incredible." Before Jack could respond, the facility shook with the impact of Kytion weaponry. "They're breaking through," Jack shouted, pulling up defensive schematics. Joseph's newly enhanced mind processed the tactical data in an instant. "I'll hold them off. Keep working on Prometheus. Figure out how we can use it to save Earth." Moving within human speed, Joseph sprinted to the facility's entrance. As the door slid open, he found himself face to face with a squad of Kytion warriors. Time seemed to slow as his enhanced senses took in every detail. The twitch of alien muscles, the minute adjustments of their aim. Joseph moved. To the Cations, he was a blur. One moment he stood before them. The next he was among them, striking with precision and power. His fists connected with alien armor, denting and cracking it. He dodged energy blasts that he previously would have had no hope of avoiding, retaliating with devastating counterattacks. As he fought, Joseph felt a strange connection forming in his mind. Knowledge flooded his consciousness, the legacy of an ancient, advanced human civilization. He saw flashes of humanity's true history, of powers long forgotten, and the reasons for their suppression. "Jack!" Joseph called out as he dispatched another Kytion warrior. "Prometheus, it's not just a weapon. It's a key to our past." Inside the facility, Jack's voice came through a speaker. "I'm seeing it too. Joseph, this is incredible. But there's a warning here. Unleashing this power too quickly could be catastrophic." Joseph ducked under a Kytion energy blade, using his opponent's momentum to throw him into his comrades. "We don't have a choice. The Cations are here to finish what they started thousands of years ago. We have to awaken humanity's potential." As Joseph continued to hold off the Kytion assault, his mind raced with the implications of what he'd learned. Humanity had once been a force to be reckoned with in the galaxy, possessing incredible abilities that made them a threat. The Caitians, acting on behalf of a galactic coalition, had imprisoned humanity on Earth, suppressing their true nature. Prometheus was humanity's failsafe, created by those ancient humans who foresaw this day. It was meant to reawaken their dormant powers when the time was right. "Jack," Joseph called out as he smashed through another wave of Kytion attackers, "we need to activate Prometheus fully. Not just for me, but for all of humanity. It's the only way we'll survive what's coming." Inside the facility, Jack worked feverishly, interfacing with the ancient technology. "I'm trying, but it's not that simple. We need to find a way to gradually introduce these enhancements. If we do it all at once, it could lead to global chaos." Suddenly, Joseph's enhanced senses picked up a new threat. He looked to the sky and saw a massive shape descending through the clouds, a Kytion warship unlike anything they'd encountered before. "Jack, we've got a problem," Joseph said, his voice tense. "There's a warship entering the atmosphere. It's big, and I've got a feeling it's not here to negotiate." As if in response to his words, the facility's communication system crackled to life. Sarah's voice came through, tinged with urgency. "Joseph, Marcus, and I have detected a massive energy buildup in orbit. The Caitians have brought in a ship with some kind of superweapon. If it fires, it could sterilize the entire planet's surface." Joseph's mind raced, processing the tactical situation with his enhanced intellect. They were out of time. Humanity needed Prometheus now. Risks be damned. "Jack," he said, his voice filled with purpose, "we need to activate Prometheus. All of it. Now." But the warning dash Jack began. "I know." Joseph cut him off. "But if we don't, there won't be a humanity left to save. Do it." As Jack began the activation sequence, Joseph turned his gaze to the descending Kytion warship. He knew that the battle for Earth's future was about to begin in earnest, and that the choices they made in the next few moments would shape the destiny of their species. With his enhanced abilities and the knowledge of humanity's true history flooding his mind, Joseph prepared himself for the fight of his life. The fate of Earth and the future of the human race hung in the balance as he stood at the threshold of the Prometheus facility, ready to face the full might of the Kytion invasion force. Joseph's enhanced senses picked up the distinctive whine of Kytion energy weapons charging. He spun, his movements a blur even to his own heightened perception, and engaged the next wave of attackers. His fists connected with alien armor, leaving dents and cracks where they struck. He dodged energy blasts that would have vaporized him moments ago, retaliating with devastating precision. As he fought, Joseph felt the knowledge from Prometheus crystallizing in his mind. The legacy of an ancient, advanced human civilization unfolded before him, revealing the true extent of humanity's potential. He saw flashes of a time when humans wielded powers that made them a force to be reckoned with in the galaxy. "Jack," Joseph called out as he dispatched another Kytion warrior. "I'm seeing our history. We were more than this. We were incredible." Inside the facility, Jack's voice crackled through the comms. "I'm seeing it too, Joseph. But there's a warning here. Unleashing this power too quickly could be catastrophic." Joseph ducked under a Kytion energy blade, using his opponent's momentum to throw him into his comrades. "We don't have a choice. The Caitians are here to finish what they started thousands of years ago. We have to awaken humanity's potential." As Joseph held off the alien assault, his enhanced mind processed the tactical situation with lightning speed. The descending Kytion warship loomed ever closer, its massive form blocking out the sky. He knew they were out of time. "Jack," he said, his voice filled with urgency, "we need to activate Prometheus. All of it. Now." But the warning dash Jack began. "I know." Joseph cut him off. "But if we don't, there won't be a humanity left to save. Do it." Inside the facility, Jack's fingers flew across the ancient controls. The air hummed with energy as Prometheus came fully online. Joseph felt a surge of power coursing through him, his already enhanced abilities magnifying exponentially. With newfound strength, Joseph burst out of the facility, leaving a trail of stunned Kytion soldiers in his wake. He moved with inhuman speed, his every motion a perfectly calculated strike against the alien forces. As he fought, Joseph became aware of changes happening around him. The resistance fighters, led by Colonel Hawkins, suddenly moved with increased agility and strength. Their weapons seemed to find their marks with uncanny accuracy. "Jack!" Joseph called out. "What's happening?" Jack's voice came through, tinged with excitement. "I've found a way to remotely activate latent abilities in other humans. It's not as powerful as your direct connection to Prometheus, but it's giving our forces a significant edge." Joseph nodded, processing this information as he continued to battle the Kytion forces. He could sense the tide of the battle shifting, the human defenders pushing back against their alien oppressors with newfound vigor. Suddenly, a familiar voice crackled through his comm unit. "Joseph, it's Sarah. Marcus and I have intercepted Kytion communications. We have intel on that warship." "Go ahead," Joseph replied, deflecting an energy blast with his bare hand. "It's equipped with some kind of superweapon," Sarah explained. "If it fires, it could sterilize the entire planet's surface. But we've identified some potential vulnerabilities." As Sarah relayed the information, Joseph's enhanced mind began formulating a plan. He analyzed the warship's weaknesses, correlating them with the ancient knowledge now at his disposal. A commotion near the facility's entrance caught Joseph's attention. A Kytion female was fighting her way through the alien ranks, heading towards him. For a moment he tensed, ready for another threat. But as she approached, he realized she was attacking her own kind. "I am Lyra," she called out, her alien features set in purpose. "I wish to defect. What the Caitians are doing is wrong. I can help you." Joseph hesitated for a split second, his enhanced senses analyzing her every movement for signs of deception. Finding none, he nodded. "All right, Lyra. What can you tell us?" As Lyra began sharing crucial information about Kytion physiology and technology, Joseph felt the ground beneath his feet tremble. A low rumble resonated through the earth, growing in intensity. "Jack," he called out. "What's happening?" "I've activated a dormant defense system," Jack replied, his voice filled with awe. "It's powered by the Earth's core. Energy weapons are targeting Kytion ships in orbit." Joseph looked up, witnessing streaks of light shooting into the sky, decimating the Kytion fleet above. The alien air support dwindled rapidly, giving the human forces a much-needed advantage. As the battle raged on, Joseph received word that Colonel Hawkins, now enhanced by Prometheus, was leading a coordinated global counteroffensive. Human military bases and cities around the world were pushing back against their Kytion occupiers. But even as hope surged, a new threat emerged. The Kytion warship, now fully descended into the atmosphere, began deploying a mysterious substance into the upper air. Lyra's eyes widened in recognition. "That compound. It's designed to render your planet uninhabitable for humans." Joseph's mind raced, weighing their options. He knew they needed to act fast, but the risks were enormous. He turned to Jack, his decision made. "Jack, we need to activate the planet-wide energy field. It's our only chance to stop that warship and save Earth." "Joseph, are you sure?" Jack's voice was tense. The strain on the planet's core could be catastrophic. "We don't have a choice," Joseph replied, his voice resolute. "Do it." As Jack initiated the sequence, the ground began to shake violently. Reports of volcanic eruptions and tectonic shifts flooded in from around the globe. The air crackled with energy as a shimmering dome began to expand across the sky. Joseph watched as Kytion technology began to fail, their ships losing power and plummeting from the sky. But he knew the battle was far from finished. The warship still loomed above, a threat to all life on Earth. With drive in his eyes, Joseph turned to a disabled Kytion fighter nearby. Using his enhanced abilities and the knowledge gained from Prometheus, he began to modify it, preparing for the most crucial mission of his life. As he worked, Sarah's voice came through once more. "Joseph, we've found a way to use the EMP device with the Prometheus field. It might be able to disable the warship without destroying it." Joseph nodded, his mind already formulating a plan. He climbed into the modified Kytion fighter, its systems now responding to his heightened reflexes. As he prepared to take off, Joseph looked back at the Prometheus facility, where Jack continued to work tirelessly. He saw Lyra, the defector, fighting alongside human resistance members. And in the distance, he could see Colonel Hawkins leading her enhanced forces against the faltering Kytion army. With a deep breath, Joseph launched the fighter into the air, ascending towards a massive Kytion warship. The fate of humanity rested on his shoulders as he soared through the chaos-filled sky, the planet below him erupting in both liberation and geological turmoil. Joseph soared through the chaos-filled sky, the modified Kytion fighter responding to his every command as if it were an extension of his own body. The massive warship loomed before him, its hull gleaming ominously in the fractured sunlight that penetrated the shimmering energy dome. As he approached, Joseph activated the EMP device Sarah and Marcus had provided. The Prometheus energy field surrounding Earth amplified the pulse, magnifying its power exponentially. A wave of invisible energy surged from the fighter, striking the warship with devastating effect. The alien vessel's exterior lights flickered and died. Its massive engine sputtered and went silent. Joseph watched as the ship's defensive systems powered down, leaving it vulnerable. Seizing the opportunity, Joseph maneuvered his fighter towards a now-exposed airlock. Using his enhanced strength, he forced the airlock open, the metal groaning under his grip. He propelled himself inside, leaving the fighter to drift in the warship's shadow. The interior of the Kytion vessel was dimly lit by emergency lighting, casting eerie shadows along the curved corridors. Joseph moved swiftly, his footsteps barely making a sound on the metallic floor. He encountered little resistance. The few Kytion crew members he came across were too preoccupied with their malfunctioning systems to notice him. As he navigated the alien labyrinth, Joseph drew upon the knowledge Prometheus had gifted him. The ship's layout unfolded in his mind like a three-dimensional map, guiding him unerringly towards the central control room. Meanwhile, on Earth's surface, the effects of the Prometheus field were reaching a fever pitch. Colonel Miranda Hawkins, her eyes glowing with newfound power, led a charge against a Kytion stronghold. Her enhanced soldiers moved with impossible speed and strength, overwhelming the alien defenses. "Push forward," Hawkins shouted, her voice carrying over the din of battle. "We take back our planet today." In the Prometheus facility, Jack Harper's fingers danced across holographic displays, his brow furrowed in concentration. The strain on Earth's core was intensifying, causing tremors that shook the very foundations of the building. "Joseph," Jack's voice crackled through the comms, "we've got a problem. The energy field is causing severe geological instability. If we don't find a way to stabilize it soon, we could be looking at global catastrophe." In Denver, Sarah and Marcus coordinated the global resistance from their makeshift command center. Reports flooded in from around the world, painting a picture of both triumph and chaos. "We've got confirmed liberation of New York and London," Marcus announced, his eyes scanning rapidly across multiple screens. "But we're getting reports of spontaneous ability manifestation in civilians. Not all of them are handling it well." Sarah nodded grimly. "Keep track of those incidents." We'll need to address them once we've dealt with the immediate Kytion threat. Back on the warship, Joseph reached the central control room. The door slid open with a hiss, revealing a circular chamber filled with alien technology. At its center stood a towering Kytion, his fur dripping with anger and his claws extended. "Human," the Kytion snarled, his voice a low growl. "I am Drazel, commander of this vessel. You will go no further." Joseph's enhanced senses analyzed his opponent, noting the subtle shifts in stance and muscle tension. "Stand down, Drazel. This invasion is over." Drazel's response was a roar of defiance as he launched himself at Joseph. The two collided in a blur of motion, trading blows that would have shattered ordinary beings. Joseph's newfound strength matched the Tsychian's natural power, their combat a deadly dance of skill and enhanced abilities. As they fought, Drazel spat out words between strikes. "You humans, a plague upon the galaxy. We should have eliminated you centuries ago." Joseph dodged a swipe of razor-sharp claws, countering with a punch that sent Drazel staggering. "Is that what they told you? That we're a threat to be eliminated?" "I've seen the projections," Drazel growled, recovering his balance. "If left unchecked, humanity would consume everything in its path." Their battle raged on, neither able to gain a decisive advantage. Joseph's mind raced, processing the implications of Drazel's words even as he fought for his life. Suddenly, a familiar voice spoke in Joseph's ear. "Joseph, it's Lyra. I've infiltrated the ship's systems remotely. I'm working on disabling the weapon, but the backup systems are coming online faster than anticipated." Joseph acknowledged Lyra's message with a grunt as he blocked another of Drazel's attacks. He knew he had to end this fight quickly. Drawing upon the tactical knowledge gifted by Prometheus, Joseph feinted to the left, then dropped low as Drazel overextended. With a powerful surge, Joseph lifted the Kytion commander and slammed him into the central control console. Drazel slumped to the ground, stunned but not defeated. Joseph stood over him, his breathing heavy but controlled. "It's over, Drazel," Joseph said, his voice firm. "Humanity has awakened. We're not the helpless species you thought we were." With the Kytion commander subdued, Joseph turned his attention to the ship's main computer. His fingers flew across the alien interface, the knowledge from Prometheus guiding his actions. Within moments, he had access to the ship's communication systems. Joseph's voice boomed through every Kytion communication channel, on the ship and across Earth. "Attention, all Kytion forces. This is Joseph Walker. Your invasion has failed. Humanity has reclaimed its true potential, and we will no longer submit to your rule." He paused, watching as confusion spread to the Kytion ranks on the displays before him. Many lowered their weapons, looking to their superiors for guidance. Joseph continued, "For too long, you've hidden the truth from us and from your own people. It's time for that to end." As Joseph's message reverberated across the planet, Jack's urgent voice cut through. "Joseph, we're running out of time. The Prometheus field is tearing the planet apart. We need to stabilize it or shut it down now." Joseph's mind raced, weighing the options before him. The Kytion warship's advanced technology could potentially stabilize the Prometheus field, saving Earth from destruction. But using it would mean losing their advantage over the remaining Kytion forces. Before he could decide, another transmission came through. "Joseph, this is Colonel Hawkins. We got a situation down here. Some of our people, they're losing control. The new abilities, they're too much for some to handle. We're seeing fights breaking out, people using their powers recklessly. If we don't get this under control, we might destroy ourselves before the Cations get the chance." Joseph's gaze swept across the control room, taking in the advanced alien technology at his fingertips and the subdued form of Drazel on the floor. The fate of humanity and Earth itself hung in the balance, waiting for his next move. Joseph's gaze swept across the control room once more, his mind racing through the cascade of crises unfolding before him. With a deep breath, he made his decision. "Jack, Colonel Hawkins, I'm going to use the warship's technology to stabilize the Prometheus field," Joseph announced, his fingers flying across the alien interface. "It's our best chance to save the planet and get the situation under control." As Joseph worked, the ship's systems came to life around him. Holographic displays flickered into existence, showing real-time data from Earth's surface. He could see the geological disturbances beginning to subside as he fine-tuned the stabilization process. "It's working," Jack's voice came through, tinged with relief. "The tremors are decreasing in intensity. We might just pull this off." With the immediate threat to Earth's stability addressed, Joseph turned his attention to the chaos erupting among the newly empowered humans. He accessed the warship's communication systems, preparing to broadcast a message to all of humanity. "People of Earth," Joseph began, his voice resonating across the planet, "I know many of you are experiencing changes beyond your comprehension, but we must remain united. These abilities are a gift, but they come with great responsibility." As he spoke, Joseph transmitted carefully selected images of the destruction caused by unchecked powers. Cities in ruins, landscapes scarred by uncontrolled energy discharges, and the aftermath of superhuman conflicts flashed across screens worldwide. "This is what awaits us if we cannot control our newfound strengths," Joseph continued. "We must learn to harness these abilities for the good of all humanity, not for personal gain or destruction." In the Prometheus facility, Jack Harper worked tirelessly, his enhanced mind processing vast amounts of data. "Joseph, I think I've found a way to modulate the field's intensity," he reported. "We can begin a more controlled awakening of human potential." "Do it," Joseph replied. "Start with those best equipped to handle the power responsibly. We need stability now more than ever." On the ground, Colonel Miranda Hawkins rallied her troops. "Listen up," she shouted, her voice carrying over the din of battle. "We're establishing a global network of enhanced peacekeepers. Our job is to contain the violence and help our fellow humans control their abilities. This is no longer just a war against the Caitians. It's a fight for the very soul of our species." As Hawkins organized her forces, Sarah and Marcus continued their work from Denver. "Joseph, we've got something," Sarah's voice crackled through the comms. "We've identified a hidden Kytion base in the Mariana Trench. It houses a device that could reverse the Prometheus field's effects." Joseph's eyes narrowed. "Good work. We'll need to neutralize that threat as soon as possible. Keep monitoring the situation and—" Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the warship. Red warning lights flashed across the control panels as the ship's AI fought back against Joseph's control. "Warning. Unauthorized access detected. Initiating self-destruct sequence," a robotic voice announced. Joseph's enhanced reflexes kicked into overdrive as he raced to override the AI. His fingers became a blur across the alien controls, his mind processing complex algorithms faster than any unenhanced human could comprehend. "Not today," Joseph muttered through gritted teeth as he battled the ship's defenses. Meanwhile, in a makeshift lab on Earth's surface, Lyra worked alongside human scientists, her feline features creased in concentration. "The key to disabling Kytion weapons lies in disrupting their power source's unique frequency," she explained, adjusting a device on the workbench before her. As the humans and their Kytion ally made progress, long-range sensors lit up with activity. Jack's voice came through the comms, urgent and tense. "Joseph, we're detecting multiple unidentified vessels approaching the solar system. Whatever you're doing up there, you might want to hurry. I think we're about to have company." Joseph's mind raced as he continued to fight the ship's AI. He knew that Earth's cosmic jailbreak wouldn't go unnoticed for long, but he hadn't expected a response this quickly. They needed to consolidate their position, and fast. "Jack, begin constructing a space defense network," Joseph ordered. "Use everything we got, Kytion tech, our own innovations, whatever it takes. We need a protective shield around Earth yesterday." As Jack acknowledged the order, Joseph finally broke through the last of the AI's defenses. The self-destruct sequence halted, and the ship's systems came fully under his control. He let out a breath he hadn't realized he'd been holding. With the immediate crisis averted, Joseph turned his attention to the warship's faster-than-light drive. He knew that humanity's future might depend on their ability to expand beyond Earth, to establish a presence in the galaxy at large. As he began the process of reverse engineering the alien technology, Joseph's mind whirled with the implications of their situation. They had broken free from their cosmic prison, awakened abilities beyond their wildest dreams, and fended off an alien invasion. But now, as unknown ships approached and the galaxy took notice of humanity's emergence, he realized that their greatest challenges might still lie ahead. The fate of humanity hung in the balance, poised between newfound power and looming threats. As Joseph worked, he could feel the weight of responsibility pressing down on him. The next moves they made would shape the future of their species, and potentially the entire galaxy. Joseph's fingers paused over the alien controls as he took a deep breath, steeling himself for the monumental task ahead. "Jack, I need you to assemble a team," Joseph said, his voice steady despite the weight of responsibility. "Get me the best engineers and physicists we have. We're going to reverse engineer this faster-than-light drive." "On it," Jack replied, his voice crackling through the calm. "I've got just the person to lead the team. Dr. Evelyn Reeves, top propulsion expert. She's been working on theoretical FTL concepts for years." Joseph nodded, even though Jack couldn't see him. "Perfect. Get her up here as soon as possible." As Joseph began the initial scans of the Kytion warship's drive systems, alarms blared once again. This time, however, it wasn't the ship's AI fighting back. "Joseph, we've got incoming." Jack's urgent voice cut through the noise. Multiple unidentified vessels just entered the solar system. Joseph's enhanced mind raced through possibilities. "Can you identify them?" There was a pause as Jack processed the data. It's not just one group. We're looking at representatives from various galactic factions. But the lead ship, Joseph, it belongs to the Galactic Council." Joseph's lips pursed. The Galactic Council, the very organization that had sanctioned Earth's imprisonment. This complicated matters significantly. "Keep monitoring them," Joseph ordered. "I'm heading back to Earth. We need to prepare." As Joseph made his way to the shuttle bay, he contacted Colonel Miranda Hawkins. "Colonel, how's the situation on the ground?" "Improving," Hawkins replied, her voice tight with concentration. "We're establishing training centers on each continent. Teaching people to control their new abilities isn't easy, but we're making progress. I'm also putting together an elite team for planetary defense and potential off-world missions." "Good work," Joseph said. "We might need that team sooner than we thought." While Joseph dealt with the immediate threat, Sarah Young and Marcus Rodriguez were deep underwater, leading a team of enhanced operatives into the hidden Kytion base in the Mariana Trench. The pressure at this depth would have crushed normal humans, but their Prometheus-enhanced bodies withstood it easily. Sarah gestured silently to her team as they approached the base's outer airlock. Marcus nodded, pulling out a device Lyra had helped develop. With a few deft movements, he bypassed the Kytion security systems, and the airlock hissed open. Inside, they moved swiftly and silently through the alien corridors. Their mission was clear: secure the device capable of reversing the Prometheus field effects. It was too dangerous to leave in Kytion hands. As Joseph's shuttle re-entered Earth's atmosphere, he received an urgent message from Jack. "The Galactic Council ship is hailing us. They're demanding an explanation." Joseph took a deep breath. This was the moment that would define humanity's future in the galaxy. "Patch me through," he said. The stern face of Ambassador Zorn, an Arcturian known for his strict adherence to galactic law, appeared on the shuttle's view screen. His crystalline features seemed to radiate disapproval. "This is Ambassador Zorn of the Galactic Council." The alien's voice resonated with authority. "We demand an immediate explanation for Earth's unauthorized awakening and the defeat of its designated wardens." Joseph met the ambassador's gaze steadily. "Ambassador Zorn, I am Joseph Walker, representing the people of Earth. We have much to discuss, but I propose we do so in person. Earth is prepared to plead its case before the Galactic Council." Zorn's crystalline features shifted in what might have been surprise. "Very well," he said after a moment. "A formal hearing will be arranged to reassess Earth's status in the galactic community." As the communication ended, Joseph's mind was already racing ahead. They had bought some time, but now they needed to prepare their case. He needed to gather evidence, testimonies, and craft an argument that would convince the Galactic Council of Humanity's right to freedom. But even as he planned, a new challenge emerged. Reports began flooding in of a growing faction led by General Marcus Blackwood, a military strategist enhanced by Prometheus. Blackwood was calling for aggressive expansion into space, rejecting any notion of negotiation with alien races. Joseph frowned as he listened to one of Blackwood's speeches. The general's words were passionate, tapping into the fear and anger many felt after centuries of imprisonment. "We cannot trust these aliens." Blackwood's voice boomed. "We must secure our future among the stars by our own hand." As the shuttle touched down at the Prometheus facility, Joseph saw Dr. Evelyn Reeves waiting for him. Her eyes sparkled with excitement despite the gravity of the situation. "Mr. Walker," she greeted him, barely containing her enthusiasm. "I've reviewed the initial scans of the Kytion drive. It's beyond anything I've ever imagined. With this technology, we could open up the entire galaxy." Joseph nodded, feeling a glimmer of hope. "Then let's get to work, Dr. Reeves. Humanity's future depends on it." As they walked into the facility, Joseph knew the real challenges were just beginning. They had to develop FDL technology, prepare for the Galactic Council hearing, manage the integration of enhanced humans into society, and counter Blackwood's growing influence. Time was not on their side, but for the first time in centuries, humanity's destiny was in its own hands. The next moves they made would shape not just their future, but potentially the course of galactic history. But potentially the course of galactic civilization itself. Joseph's shuttle touched down at the Prometheus facility with a soft thud. As he disembarked, he saw Dr. Evelyn Reeves waiting for him, her eyes alight with excitement despite the gravity of the situation. "Mr. Walker," she greeted him, barely containing her enthusiasm. "I've reviewed the initial scans of the Kytion drive. It's beyond anything I've ever imagined. With this technology, we could open up the entire galaxy." Joseph nodded, feeling a glimmer of hope. "Then let's get to work, Dr. Reeves. Humanity's future depends on it." As they walked into the facility, Joseph's mind raced with plans and possibilities. He knew the challenges ahead were immense, but for the first time in centuries, humanity's destiny was in its own hands. Over the next few days, Joseph established a secure command center within the captured Kytion warship, now christened the Prometheus Prime. From high Earth orbit, he coordinated Earth's defense and diplomatic efforts, overseeing the rapid development of humanity's fledgling space fleet. Dr. Reeves and her team worked tirelessly, making significant progress on the faster-than-light drive prototype. Joseph watched as they successfully miniaturized the technology, allowing for its integration into smaller vessels. "We've done it," Dr. Reeves announced, her face flushed with triumph. "We can now convert existing human spacecraft into FDL-capable ships." This will expand our reach and defensive capabilities exponentially. Joseph's enhanced mind quickly calculated the implications. Excellent work, Dr. Reeves. Begin mass production immediately. Meanwhile, Colonel Miranda Hawkins expanded her enhanced peacekeeper force. Joseph approved her plans for orbital training facilities designed to prepare for potential space-based conflicts. We're implementing a rigorous screening process, Hawkins reported during a holographic briefing. We're identifying individuals with the most stable and controllable abilities. I'm calling this elite unit Star Shield. Joseph nodded approvingly. Good. We need a force capable of defending Earth both on the ground and in space. On Earth, Jack Harper refined the Prometheus field modulation technique. He created localized ability zones where human powers could be safely tested and controlled. These zones are game changers, Joseph, Jack explained, gesturing to a holographic map dotted with glowing points. We can now train newly empowered individuals more efficiently and provide safe havens for those struggling with their abilities. As Earth's defenses grew stronger, Joseph faced a new challenge. General Marcus Blackwood, leveraging his enhanced charisma and strategic acumen, gained significant public support for his aggressive stance on cosmic expansion. We cannot trust these aliens. Blackwood's voice boomed during a public address, his words echoing through the streets of major cities. We must secure our future among the stars by our own hand. Joseph frowned as he watched the broadcast. Blackwood's rhetoric was dangerous, tapping into the fear and anger many felt after centuries of imprisonment. He knew he needed to counter this influence carefully. His concerns deepened when Ambassador Zorn sent a warning. The Galactic Council views these developments with increasing alarm. The Arcturians' crystalline features shimmered on the display. Some factions are pushing for preemptive action against Earth. Joseph's mind raced, analyzing the situation. He needed to demonstrate humanity's peaceful intentions while maintaining a strong defensive posture. An idea formed in his enhanced mind. Dr. Reeves, he called over the comm, I have a new project for you. We're calling it Olive Branch. I need you to adapt the FDL drive technology to create a network of faster-than-light communication relays. As Dr. Reeves and her team worked on Project Olive Branch, Joseph received troubling intelligence from Lyra. She revealed the existence of a hardline faction within the Galactic Council, led by the Zeraxian Imperator Krosthar. They advocate for the complete neutralization of Earth's awakened populace, Lyra explained, her feline features creased with worry. The upcoming hearing may be a trap, Joseph. Joseph's enhanced mind quickly formulated a counter-strategy. He ordered the construction of a holographic projection system capable of transmitting lifelike images across interstellar distances. As Earth's first FDL-capable ships completed their trials, Joseph authorized a series of covert reconnaissance missions to nearby star systems. He watched from the Prometheus Prime as the sleek, newly converted vessels disappeared into the vast expanse of space. Their mission to gather crucial intelligence on the current state of galactic politics. With the Galactic Council hearing approaching rapidly, Joseph worked tirelessly to finalize Earth's presentation. He compiled evidence of humanity's ancient history, demonstrations of their peaceful intentions, and proposals for mutually beneficial cooperation. As he reviewed the final draft of his speech, Joseph's enhanced senses picked up a commotion outside his command center. Jack Harper burst in, his eyes wide with excitement. Joseph, you need to see this, Jack said breathlessly, holding up a data crystal. I've uncovered evidence within the Prometheus facility. There was an ancient human-alien alliance that once stood against the forces that imprisoned Earth. Joseph's eyes narrowed as he absorbed this new information. He knew it could provide crucial leverage in the upcoming negotiations with the Galactic Council. As he integrated this revelation into his plans, Joseph remained acutely aware that the fate of humanity hung in the balance. The threat of both external intervention and internal division cast long shadows over Earth's newfound awakening. But as Joseph looked out at the stars from the bridge of the Prometheus Prime, he felt a surge of willpower. Humanity had broken free from its cosmic prison, and he was grit to ensure they would never be caged again. Joseph's grit and drive were soon put to the test as a Galactic Council hearing approached. Aboard the Prometheus Prime, he oversaw the final preparations, his enhanced mind processing multiple streams of information simultaneously. "Sir, we're detecting a surge of incoming ships," reported Lieutenant Chun, her eyes fixed on a holographic display. "They're converging on the neutral location for the hearing." Joseph nodded, his expression resolute. "Activate the holographic projection system. We'll participate from here, safely out of reach." As the system hummed to life, Joseph received a call from Dr. Evelyn Reeves. Her face appeared on a nearby screen, beaming with excitement. "Mr. Walker, I have good news. The ESS Horizon is ready for its shakedown cruise." "Excellent work, Doctor," Joseph replied. "Colonel Hawkins, prepare your Starshield crew. You'll be commanding our first purpose-built starship." As Hawkins saluted and left to brief her team, Joseph turned his attention to the situation on Earth. Jack Harper's voice crackled over the comm system. "Joseph, the global network of Prometheus field modulators is online," Jack reported. "We've already contained several incidents, including a hostile takeover attempt in New Singapore." Joseph's brow furrowed. "General Blackwood will use this to push his agenda. Keep me updated on any developments." As if on cue, a broadcast from Blackwood began playing on one of the auxiliary screens. The general's voice boomed, filled with passion and urgency. "Fellow citizens, these incidents prove we must act now. I propose a militarized colony ship to establish a human presence beyond our solar system. We must secure our future." Joseph watched the broadcast with growing concern, but he had no time to address it. The Galactic Council hearing was about to begin. The holographic projection system flickered to life, and suddenly Joseph found himself standing before the assembled representatives of countless alien species. He took a deep breath and began his presentation. "Esteemed members of the Galactic Council," he began, his voice steady and clear. "I stand before you today to present Earth's case. We seek to rejoin the galactic community, a right that was unjustly taken from us centuries ago." As Joseph revealed the evidence of humanity's ancient history and their wrongful imprisonment, he noticed a shift in the Council's demeanor. Even Ambassador Zorn's crystalline features seemed to soften slightly. But just as Joseph was gaining momentum, alarms blared throughout the Prometheus Prime. Lieutenant Chen's voice cut through the chaos. "Sir, we have multiple hostile contacts emerging from FTL. They bypassed our outer defenses." Joseph's mind raced. This was the moment he had prepared for. "Initiate Operation Slingshot," he commanded. Across Earth's solar system, hidden Prometheus field generators activated, creating localized space-time distortions. The attacking Zeraxian fleet, caught off guard, found their precise formations thrown into disarray. Ships collided or veered wildly off course, their crews struggling to regain control. On board the ESS Horizon, Colonel Hawkins barked orders to her Starshield crew. "Prepare for immediate engagement. Activate FTL drive and execute evasive pattern Alpha." The sleek Earth vessel darted between the massive Zeraxian warships, its advanced drive allowing it to outmaneuver the alien vessels with ease. Hawkins' tactical genius shone as she coordinated devastating hit-and-run attacks, crippling several enemy ships in rapid succession. Back on Earth, Sarah Young and Marcus Rodriguez worked in tandem, activating the network of reverse-engineered Kytion nullification devices. As Zeraxian energy weapons lanced down from orbit, they fizzled and died in midair, leaving Earth cities unscathed. The members of the Galactic Council watched in stunned silence as the battle unfolded. Ambassador Zorn turned to his fellow representatives. his voice filled with a mixture of awe and concern. This unprovoked attack changes everything. The humans have shown remarkable restraint and ingenuity in their defense. As Joseph coordinated Earth's defense from the Prometheus Prime, a priority message from Lyra flashed on his screen. Her feline features were taut with excitement. "Joseph, I've decoded more of the Alliance records," she said breathlessly. "There's a hidden cache of advanced technology left behind by the ancient human-alien alliance. Its location is—" Before she could finish, the communication was cut short by a burst of static. Joseph's mind raced with the implications of this revelation. If they could secure that cache, it could turn the tide of the battle and potentially reshape humanity's future in the galaxy. Without hesitation, Joseph opened a secure channel to Jack Harper. "Jack, I need you to lead a team to these coordinates. There's a cache of advanced technology hidden there. We need it to end this conflict." As Jack acknowledged the order and assembled his team, Joseph received another urgent alert. General Blackwood, seizing the chaos of the attack as an opportunity, had launched his own offensive. The general's enhanced supporters were attempting to seize control of key military installations across the globe. Joseph found himself facing a war on three fronts: the Zeraxian attack from space, Blackwood's insurrection on Earth, and the race to secure the ancient cache. As he processed a flood of information and issued rapid-fire orders, Joseph knew that the next few hours would determine not just Earth's place in the galaxy, but the very future of human civilization. The battle raged on, with the fate of Earth hanging in the balance. Joseph stood at the center of the storm, his enhanced mind pushing the limits of human potential as he fought to navigate the complex web of galactic politics, internal strife, and extraterrestrial threats. The true test of humanity's awakening had only just begun. Joseph's enhanced mind raced as he processed a flood of incoming data, his fingers dancing across holographic displays as he coordinated Earth's defense efforts. "Colonel Hawkins, status report," he barked into the comm. "ESS Horizon holding strong, sir," came the crisp reply. "We've just taken out 2 more Zeraxian cruisers. These bastards don't know what hit them." Joseph allowed himself a small smile. The Horizon's performance exceeded even his optimistic projections. On another screen, he watched as the reverse-engineered Kytion nullifiers lit up in a dazzling display, rendering the Zeraxian energy weapons useless against Earth's major population centers. "Sir," Lieutenant Chen's voice cut through his thoughts, "we're detecting a massive energy surge from the surface. It's General Blackwood. He seized control of the Cape Canaveral spaceport." Joseph's teeth clenched. He had hoped to avoid this, but Blackwood's enhanced charisma had proven too potent. "Patch me through to Jack Harper," he ordered. Jack's face appeared on the screen, his features taut with concentration. "Joseph, we've reached the coordinates. You're not going to believe what we've found." "Make it quick, Jack. We've got a situation topside. It's a vault hidden deep underground. The security systems are unlike anything I've ever seen. It's going to take some time to crack, but I think dash." A violent tremor shook the facility, cutting off Jack's transmission. Joseph's enhanced senses picked up the faint echoes of an explosion far above. "Chun, what was that?" "Sir, Blackwood's forces have launched their colony ship, the Exodus. They've fired on our own defense platforms to clear a path." Joseph's mind raced through scenarios, calculating odds and outcomes at lightning speed. He made his decision in a heartbeat. "Activate Protocol Omega," he commanded. "Authorized user, Joseph Walker. Authorization code, Prometheus Ascendant." Across the globe, hidden Prometheus field modulators hummed to life. In key strategic locations, enhanced humans suddenly found their abilities suppressed, their newfound powers slipping away like water through their fingers. On the main view screen, Joseph watched as loyal forces moved in to retake the compromised installations. Blackwood supporters, caught off guard by the sudden loss of their enhancements, offered little resistance. "Sir," Jim reported, her voice tinged with awe, "Jack Harper's team has broken through the vault's defenses. They're transmitting data. My God, it's incredible!" Joseph's eyes widened as he scanned the incoming information. Weapons capable of reshaping the fabric of space-time itself. Shields that could withstand the fury of a supernova. And at the heart of it all, a device that promised to revolutionize space travel. A controlled wormhole generator. "Get that tech to our ships now," Joseph ordered. "Priority to the horizon. If we can turn this battle around, we might just dash." An alarm blared, cutting him off mid-sentence. Joseph's blood ran cold as he saw the cause. A massive Zeraxian dreadnought had just entered the solar system, its weapon systems powering up for a planet-killing strike. "All hands, brace for impact," Joseph shouted, knowing full well that no amount of bracing would save them if that behemoth unleashed its full power. As the dreadnought loomed ever closer, Joseph made a decision that would alter the course of human history. He opened a channel to the Galactic Council, his voice steady despite the chaos unfolding around him. "Honored members of the Council," he began, "I come to you with an offer. The ancient technologies we've discovered, the power to reshape the very fabric of space-time, we offer to share it all. In exchange, we ask for your immediate intervention against the Zeraxian dreadnought threatening our world." A stunned silence fell over the council chamber. Joseph could almost feel the tension crackling through the subspace link as the representatives grappled with the implications of his offer. "You have 1 hour to decide," Joseph continued, his voice grim. "After that, we may not have a world left to save." As the council erupted into frenzied debate, Joseph turned his attention back to the battle at hand. The ESS Horizon, newly equipped with the prototype wormhole generator, executed a series of maneuvers that defied belief. Zeraxian energy beams disappeared into shimmering portals, only to emerge behind their own ships. Missiles vanished mid-flight, reappearing inside enemy vessels with devastating effect. But even with these newfound advantages, Joseph knew they were only delaying the inevitable. The dreadnought's weapon continued to charge, its ominous glow visible even from Earth's surface. "Initiate planetary evacuation protocols," Joseph ordered, his heart heavy. "Get as many people to the underground shelters as we can." As the evacuation orders went out, Joseph's mind raced through potential strategies, each more desperate than the last. The ancient cache had given them a fighting chance, but would it be enough? And what of Blackwood and his Exodus ship? Even if Earth survived, humanity might tear itself apart from within. The minutes ticked by with agonizing slowness. Joseph watched as the dreadnought drew ever closer, its massive form blotting out the stars. The Galactic Council remained silent, their debate stretching on as Earth's fate hung in the balance. With time running out, Joseph made his way to the Prometheus Prime's bridge. If these were to be humanity's final moments, he would face them head-on. "All remaining ships, form up on the Prometheus Prime," he commanded. "We're making our stand here. Whatever happens next, we face it together." As Earth's defenders moved into formation, the Zeraxian dreadnought entered weapons range. Its planet-killer cannon pulsed with energy, ready to reduce humanity's homeworld to cosmic dust. Joseph took a deep breath, his enhanced mind calculating their odds of survival. The numbers were not in their favor, but he had long since learned that humanity's greatest strength lay in defying the odds. "All ships, prepare to engage," he ordered, his voice steady despite the weight of billions of lives resting on his shoulders. "Let's show the galaxy what humanity is truly capable of." The Prometheus Prime's engines flared to life, leading Earth's defenders in a charge against the Zeraxian Colossus. As they raced towards what might be their final battle, Joseph couldn't help but wonder, would the Galactic Council intervene in time? Or would humanity's resurgence end here, in the cold depths of space, before it had truly begun? Begun. As Earth's defenders charged towards the Xeraxian Colossus, Joseph's enhanced mind raced through possibilities. He opened a secure channel to the ESS Horizon. "Colonel Hawkins, initiate Operation Slingshot," he commanded. "Use the wormhole generator as planned." "Understood, sir," Hawkins replied, her voice steady despite the chaos around her. The ESS Horizon's engines flared, propelling it ahead of the fleet. Suddenly, shimmering portals materialized around Earth orbit. The Xeraxian dreadnought's energy beams lanced out, only to disappear into the wormholes and emerge behind their own ships, causing havoc in their ranks. Joseph watched as civilian ships began streaming through the escape routes provided by the wormholes. He hoped they wouldn't be necessary, but he couldn't risk leaving Earth's population defenseless. "Sir," Lieutenant Chen's voice cut through the din, "we're detecting a high-speed aircraft entering Earth's atmosphere. It's Jack Harper's team." Joseph's eyes widened as he saw the readout. Jack's ship was weaving through a barrage of weapons fire, pursued closely by several fighters bearing General Blackwood's insignia. "Patch me through to Jack," Joseph ordered. Jack's face appeared on the screen, his features taut with concentration as he maneuvered the ship. "Joseph, we've got the tech, but Blackwood's goons are all over us." "Hold on, Jack. I'm sending backup," Joseph replied, quickly dispatching a squad of loyal fighters to assist. On the ground, Colonel Miranda Hawkins led her team through the smoke-filled corridors of the Cape Canaveral spaceport. The sounds of battle echoed through the facility as they pushed forward, systematically neutralizing Blackwood's enhanced supporters with their nullification devices. "Team Alpha, secure the control room," Miranda barked into her comm. "Beta team with me. We're taking the launch pad." As they rounded a corner, a group of Blackwood soldiers opened fire. Miranda ducked behind a console, her mind racing through tactical options. She activated her nullifier, watching as confusion spread across the enemy's faces when their enhancements suddenly failed. "Now!" she shouted, leading her team in a swift counterattack. In orbit, the Xeraxian dreadnought loomed ever closer, its massive form eclipsing the stars. Joseph gritted his teeth as he watched the ship's planet-cracking weapon begin to charge, a sickly green glow building at its fore. "All ships, concentrate fire on that weapon," he ordered, knowing full well it might not be enough. Suddenly, alarms blared across the Prometheus Prime's bridge. A massive energy signature appeared at the edge of the solar system, rapidly approaching Earth. "Unknown vessel entering the system," Chin reported, her voice tinged with awe. "Sir, it's unlike anything we've ever seen." Joseph's eyes widened as the newcomer came into view. It was enormous, easily dwarfing even the Xeraxian dreadnought. Its sleek lines and pulsing energy patterns spoke of technology far beyond anything humanity had encountered. A communication request flashed on Joseph's console. He accepted it, and a holographic figure materialized before him, an AI construct of startling complexity. "Greetings, Joseph Walker," the AI said, its voice resonant and calm. "I am Sentinel, custodian of the Ark. We have come to assist humanity in its hour of need." As Joseph processed this revelation, the Ark deployed a shimmering energy field that enveloped Earth, just as the Xeraxian dreadnought fired its primary weapon. The destructive beam struck the shield and dissipated harmlessly. "Sentinel," Joseph said, his mind racing with possibilities, "we welcome your aid. Can you help us neutralize that dreadnought?" "Indeed," Sentinel replied. "I suggest a coordinated strike. Your ESS Horizon's wormhole technology, combined with our advanced weaponry, could create an opening." Joseph nodded, quickly formulating a plan. "Colonel Hawkins," he called, reopening the channel to the horizon, "prepare to create a wormhole directly inside the dreadnought's shields. We're sending in a strike team." As the Earth fleet regrouped for this daring assault, Jack Harper's ship finally broke through the atmosphere, escorted by loyalist fighters. They streaked towards the main defense command center, the precious cargo of ancient technology secure aboard. "Joseph, we're approaching the command center," Jack reported, his voice tense. But Blackwood's not giving up. He's mobilizing the Exodus for launch. Joseph's heart made. He had hoped to avoid this, but Blackwood had forced his hand. "Understood, Jack. Get that tech integrated into our defenses." "I'll deal with Blackwood." With a few rapid commands, Joseph activated a hidden protocol in the Exodus systems. Alarms blared throughout the massive colony ship as its launch sequence abruptly terminated, leaving Blackwood and his supporters trapped inside. As Earth's defenses surged with newfound power from the ancient technology, Joseph turned his attention back to the space battle. The combined forces of Earth's fleet and the Ark were engaging the Zeraxian dreadnought, creating a dazzling display of advanced weaponry and tactics. Colonel Hawkins' voice crackled over the comm. "Strike team is aboard the dreadnought. Sir, we're making our way to the main weapon system now." Joseph watched the tactical display, his enhanced mind processing the complex, multi-fronted battle. Earth's forces were pushing back the Zeraxian fleet, the ancient technology giving them a decisive edge. But the dreadnought remained a linchpin. If Hawkins' team failed, all could still be lost. Suddenly, a new signal caught Joseph's attention. His eyes widened as he recognized the transmission source. "Sir," Chin reported, her voice filled with disbelief, "we're receiving a message from the Galactic Council." "Council," Chin finished, her eyes wide with anticipation. Joseph's heart raced as he accepted the incoming transmission. A holographic image materialized before him, revealing the stern visage of Ambassador Zorn. "Commander Walker." Zorn's voice resonated through the bridge. "The Council has reached a decision. We will intervene." Relief washed over Joseph, but he knew the battle was nowhere near the end. As if to underscore that thought, the ship shuddered under the impact of Zeraxian weapons fire. "Thank you, Ambassador," Joseph replied, his mind already formulating new strategies. "We welcome your assistance. Our forces are engaging the dreadnought now." As the transmission ended, Joseph turned his attention back to the battle. The combined Earth fleet and the Orcs forces pressed their attack against the Zeraxian dreadnought, creating a dazzling display of advanced weaponry and tactics. "Colonel Hawkins, status report," Joseph commanded, opening a channel to the strike team. Miranda's voice crackled through the comm, punctuated by the sounds of weapons fire and shouted orders. "We've breached the dreadnought's outer defenses, so making our way to the main weapon system now. Resistance is heavy." Joseph watched the tactical display, his enhanced mind processing the complex, multi-fronted battle. Earth's forces were pushing back the Zeraxian fleet, the ancient technology giving them a decisive edge. But the dreadnought remained a linchpin. If Hawkins' team failed, all could still be lost. Suddenly, an urgent transmission from Jack Harper cut through the din of battle. "Joseph, we've done it. We've integrated a portion of the ancient tech into Earth's defense network. We can create a planet-wide energy shield." Joseph's eyes widened at the implications. "Activate it immediately, Jack. That shield might be our last line of defense." As Jack worked to bring the planetary shield online, Joseph redirected his attention to the space battle. The Galactic Council peacekeepers, led by Ambassador Zorn, had arrived in force. Their sleek vessels took up position between Earth and the Zeraxian forces, weapons primed and ready. Zorn's voice boomed across all channels. "Zeraxian forces, this is Ambassador Zorn of the Galactic Council. You are ordered to cease hostilities immediately and withdraw from this system." The response came swiftly, the gruff voice of Supreme Commander Vexthor filling the airwaves. "We will not be deterred, Council Dog. Humanity's awakening poses too great a threat to galactic stability. We will see this world burn before we allow that to happen." As tensions escalated, Joseph noticed a change in the Ark's energy readings. Before he could inquire, Sentinel's calm voice addressed him. "Commander Walker, we are activating our primary tractor beam. We will immobilize the Xeraxian dreadnought." True to Sentinel's word, a massive beam of energy lanced out from the Ark, enveloping the dreadnought in its grasp. The colossal ship strained against the hold, but remained fixed in place, unable to bring its main weapon to bear on Earth. Joseph seized the opportunity. He assessed Horizon. This is Walker. Create a series of strategic wormholes around the enemy vessel. All ships, prepare for coordinated assault through those portals. Hit them with everything we've got. As Earth's fleet and their new allies launched their attack, Joseph received another urgent transmission, this time from the Planetary Defense Center. Lieutenant Chen's voice was tense as she relayed the message. "Sir, we've detected a security breach at the main Prometheus facility. It's Blackwood. He's leading an assault team to seize control of the Prometheus field." Joseph's mind focused. He had hoped it wouldn't come to this, but Blackwood had forced his hand. "Patch me through to Jack," he ordered. Jack's face appeared on the screen, his features set in dogged persistence. "I'm on it, Joseph. We're activating internal defenses now. I'll hold this facility if it's the last thing I do." As multiple crises unfolded simultaneously, Colonel Hawkins and her strike team finally reached the Dreadnought's main reactor. Miranda's voice came through the comm, tinged with frustration. "Sir, we've encountered a problem. The reactor's protected by a failsafe that requires a Xeraxian biosignature. We can't shut it down." Joseph's mind raced, searching for a solution. Before he could respond, an unexpected voice cut through the channel. It was Lyra, the defected Kytion scientist. "Colonel Hawkins, this is Lyra. I may have a solution. My research into Kytion and Xeraxian biology has allowed me to create a synthetic biosignature. I'm transmitting the data now." As Miranda worked to apply the synthetic biosignature amidst heavy fire from Xeraxian security forces, Joseph's attention was drawn to a new alert on his console. Lieutenant Chen's voice was filled with awe as she reported, "Sir, long-range sensors are detecting a massive energy surge at the edge of the solar system. It's an enormous fleet." Joseph watched in amazement as the newcomers came into view. Their ships were unlike anything he had ever seen, their design speaking a technology far beyond even that of the Ark or the Xeraxians. "Incoming transmission from the lead vessel, sir," Chen reported. As Joseph prepared to make contact with this new force, he knew that the next few moments would determine not just the fate of this battle, but potentially the future of humanity in the galactic community. With Blackwood's insurrection threatening the heart of the Prometheus project, the Xeraxian dreadnought, still a looming threat, and now the arrival of this mysterious fleet, Joseph steeled himself for the challenges ahead. The bridge of the Prometheus Prime fell silent as the transmission from the unknown fleet began to come through, the fate of Earth hanging in the balance. Balance. The holographic image flickered to life, revealing a sight that left even the seasoned crew of the Prometheus Prime in awe. Before them stood a colossal figure, easily twice the height of a human, with iridescent skin that seemed to shift and shimmer like the surface of a soap bubble. Intricate, glowing markings adorned its body, pulsing with an otherworldly energy. This was Grand Archon Zephyrus, leader of the predecessor fleet. "Greetings, children of Earth." The figure's voice resonated through the bridge, a sound that was felt as much as heard. "We are the predecessors, and we have returned." Joseph straightened his posture, acutely aware of the weight of this moment. "On behalf of humanity, I welcome you. I am Commander Joseph Walker of the Earth Space Force." As Joseph engaged in this historic first contact, alarms blared on his console. Multiple crises demanded his attention simultaneously. "Sir," Lieutenant Chen reported urgently, "Colonel Hawkins' team has reached the reactor on the Xeraxian dreadnought, but they've encountered a biosignature lock. Joseph's mind raced, processing the information. Before he could respond, another voice cut through the channel, Lyra, the Kytion scientist. "I have a solution." Lyra's voice crackled over the comm. "I've developed a synthetic Xeraxian biosignature. Transmitting now." On the Dreadnought, Colonel Miranda Hawkins received the data. Her team worked swiftly, uploading the synthetic signature into a portable projector. The device hummed to life, emitting a complex pattern of energy that perfectly mimicked Xeraxian biology. Miranda approached the reactor's control panel, heart pounding. She pressed the projector against the biosensor, holding her breath. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, with a series of clicks and whirs, the panel unlocked. "We're in," Miranda reported, her fingers flying over the controls. "Initiating reactor overload sequence now." As the countdown began, Joseph turned his attention to another urgent transmission. Jack Harper's face appeared on screen, his expression grim. "Blackwood's made his move," Jack reported, the sound of weapons fire echoing in the background. "He's leading an assault on the main Prometheus facility. We're holding them off for now, but they're using enhanced soldiers. It's only a matter of time before they breach our defenses." Joseph's fist tight. "Activate emergency protocols, Jack. Seal off critical sections and deploy the nullification drones. We can't let Blackwood get his hands on the Prometheus field." As Jack moved to implement the defensive measures, Joseph refocused on the space battle. The ESS Horizon's wormhole generator had turned the tide, allowing Earth's fleet to outmaneuver the Xeraxian forces. Ambassador Zorn's peacekeepers joined the fray, their advanced weapons cutting through enemy shields with ease. Suddenly, a wave of energy washed over the battlefield. Joseph watched in astonishment as every weapon in the engagement zone, Terran, Xeraxian, and even those of the Council peacekeepers, went dark. "What's happening?" Joseph demanded, but his question was answered by the imposing figure of Grand Archon Zephyrus. "We have enacted a ceasefire," the predecessor leader declared. "This conflict ends now. Representatives from all factions will board our command ship immediately for negotiations." Joseph knew there was no room for argument. He quickly opened a channel to Colonel Hawkins. "Miranda, abort the reactor overload. Secure the Dreadnought and prepare for diplomatic talks." As Joseph coordinated the ceasefire in space, an unexpected development unfolded on Earth. The predecessor's energy field interacted with the Prometheus technology, causing a temporary power surge. Jack Harper seized the opportunity, using the boosted Prometheus field to generate an enormous nullification wave. In an instant, Blackwood and his enhanced soldiers found themselves stripped of their augmented abilities. The facility's automated defenses quickly overwhelmed the now vulnerable attackers. "Blackwood's forces are neutralized," Jack reported, a note of relief in his voice. "We've got them in custody." Joseph allowed himself a moment of satisfaction before turning to the task at hand. He had to choose a delegation to represent Earth in the upcoming negotiations, a decision that could shape humanity's future in the galaxy. After careful consideration, Joseph selected his team. Himself, Jack Harper for his expertise in Prometheus technology, Lyra for her scientific knowledge and unique perspective, and, in a controversial move, General Marcus Blackwood, to ensure all human factions were represented. As the Earth delegation boarded the predecessor shuttle, Joseph couldn't help but marvel at its design. The vessel seemed to bend light around it, its hull shimmering with an energy that defied conventional physics. The shuttle glided smoothly towards a massive predecessor command ship. As they drew closer, Joseph and his team gaped at its impossible geometry, angles that shouldn't exist, surfaces that seemed to fold in on themselves, and pulsating energy fields that hinted at technology far beyond human comprehension. Joseph took a deep breath, steeling himself for what lay ahead. The outcome of these negotiations would determine not just the fate of this battle, but humanity's place among the stars. As the shuttle docked with the predecessor ship, he turned to his team. "Remember," he said, his voice low and intense, "everything we do from this point on will shape the future of our species. Let's make it count." With that, the airlock hissed open, revealing a corridor that seemed to stretch into infinity. Joseph stepped forward, leading humanity into its next great adventure. As they stepped through the airlock, Joseph and his team found themselves in a corridor that seemed to defy the laws of physics. The walls shimmered and shifted, patterns of light and color dancing across surfaces that appeared both solid and ethereal. Joseph blinked, his mind struggling to process the impossible geometry surrounding them. Jack Harper let out a low whistle, his scientific curiosity piqued by the advanced technology on display. "It's like walking through a living organism," Lyra murmured, her feline eyes wide with wonder. Even General Blackwood, still subdued from his earlier defeat, couldn't hide his amazement. "In all my years, I never imagined—" Their awe was interrupted by the approach of Grand Archon Zephyrus, his towering form gliding towards them with otherworldly grace. Up close, the iridescent quality of his skin was even more pronounced, rippling with colors that seemed to exist beyond the human spectrum. "Welcome, children of Earth," Zephyrus's voice resonated through their bodies. "Please follow me." As they moved deeper into the ship, Joseph noticed the corridor expanding and contracting, almost as if it were breathing. The group emerged into a vast chamber that defied comprehension. The ceiling, if it could be called that, seemed to open up to the stars themselves, creating an illusion of standing in open space. Around a central dais, representatives from various species were assembled. Joseph immediately recognized the hulking form of Supreme Commander Vextor, the Zeraxian's eyes burning with awe-inspiring rage. Nearby, Ambassador Zorn stood with a group of Galactic Council members, their expressions a mix of curiosity and apprehension. Grand Archon Zephyrus took his place at the center of the gathering. "We stand at a crossroads of galactic history," he began, his voice filling the chamber. "The awakening of humanity was not by chance, but by design." A murmur rippled through the assembled delegates. Joseph felt a chill run down his spine as Zephyrus continued, revealing the true purpose behind Earth's isolation. The predecessor's words painted a picture of humanity as a carefully cultivated species, their potential recognized and nurtured over millennia. "The Prometheus device," Zephyrus explained, "was our creation, left to accelerate your evolution at the precise moment it was needed." Vextor's voice boomed across the chamber. "This is madness. You would unleash these savages upon the galaxy?" His massive fist slammed against the dais. "They must be contained before they destroy us all." Ambassador Zorn stepped forward, his voice calm but firm. "Supreme Commander, please. We must consider all aspects of this revelation." He turned to the Earth delegation. "However, the concerns about humanity's rapid advancement are not without merit." Joseph saw his opportunity. He stepped forward, his voice clear and determined. "If I may, I have a proposal." All eyes turned to him as he continued. "Earth is willing to share the secrets of the Prometheus device and the ancient technology we've discovered. In exchange, we ask for full membership in the Galactic Council and assurances of protection against future aggression." The chamber erupted in a cacophony of voices. Some delegates shouted their approval, while others voiced vehement opposition. Joseph stood his ground, his gaze steady as he surveyed the reactions around him. As the debate raged, Jack Harper and Lyra huddled together, their minds working in tandem. "We can show them," Jack whispered, "the potential of human-alien cooperation." Lyra nodded, her eyes gleaming with excitement. "Yes, combining our knowledge could lead to breakthroughs beyond imagination." They approached the central dais, requesting permission to speak. As the chamber quieted, Jack and Lyra began their impromptu presentation. They outlined several theoretical innovations, combining Prometheus technology with Kytion science in ways that could benefit the entire galactic community. Their words captivated many of the delegates, the possibilities they presented too tantalizing to ignore. Even some of the more skeptical representatives leaned in, their interest piqued. As Jack and Lyra concluded, Joseph noticed a shift in the room's atmosphere. The hostility had lessened, replaced by a cautious optimism. Even General Blackwood, who had remained silent until now, stepped forward. As someone who once saw humanity's future through the lens of conflict, Blackwood began, his voice gruff but sincere. I now see the potential for something greater. Our drive, our ambition, it needn't be a threat. Properly channeled, it could be the galaxy's greatest asset. Joseph felt a surge of pride at Blackwood's words. Despite their past differences, the general was proving to be an unexpected ally in this crucial moment. Grand Archon Zephyrus raised his hand, silencing the murmurs that had broken out. There is more you must know, he said, his tone grave. Humanity's awakening is part of a larger design, a response to a threat that looms over us all. The chamber fell into an expectant hush as Zephyrus continued. He spoke of an entity known as the Void, an extragalactic force consuming entire star systems in its relentless advance. The predecessors believed that humanity's unique potential, combined with the knowledge of the galactic community, might be the key to developing a defense against this cosmic horror. As Zephyrus's words sank in, Joseph felt the weight of this new responsibility settle on his shoulders. The conflicts that had seemed so crucial mere moments ago now paled in comparison to the existential threat facing not just humanity, but all sentient life in the galaxy. He looked around the chamber, seeing the same realization dawning on the faces of the other delegates. The Zyraxians, the Galactic Council, the predecessors, all were now united by a common enemy, a threat so vast it defied comprehension. Joseph stepped forward once more, his mind racing with the implications of this revelation. He knew that his next words would be crucial, not just for Earth's future, but for the fate of the entire galaxy. As all eyes turned to him, he took a deep breath, preparing to navigate the complex web of galactic politics and cosmic threats that now lay before him. Joseph's mind raced, processing the monumental implications of the Void threat. He glanced at his team, seeing the same mix of willpower and apprehension reflected in their eyes. Taking a deep breath, he stepped forward, his voice steady and clear. Grand Archon Zephyrus, esteemed delegates, I propose we face this threat together. Earth stands ready to contribute its full resources and ingenuity to a united defense effort. Joseph outlined his vision for Project Unity, a collaborative initiative combining human innovation with alien technologies to create a galactic defense system. As he spoke, Jack, Harper, and Lyra moved to his side, carrying a small device they had hastily assembled during the negotiations. If I may, Jack interjected, holding up the device. We've developed a prototype using a fusion of Prometheus technology and Kytion science. We call it the Void Detector. Lyra activated the device, and a holographic display materialized above it, showing a complex network of energy signatures. This technology can theoretically detect the Void's approach at distances far beyond our current capabilities, she explained, her tail swishing with excitement. The chamber erupted in a mix of murmurs and exclamations. Ambassador Zorn leaned forward, his antennae twitching with interest. Several Galactic Council members exchanged impressed glances. Supreme Commander Vex Thor, however, remained unconvinced. He strode forward, his massive frame towering over the Earth delegation. Pretty lights and bold claims, he growled. But where is your proof? How can we trust these newcomers with the fate of our galaxy? Joseph met the Zyraxian's fierce gaze. We understand your skepticism, Commander. That's why we propose hosting a joint research initiative on Earth. We invite scientists and diplomats from all races to work alongside humans in developing defenses against the void. Before Vex Thor could respond, Joseph's comm device buzzed. He glanced down to see an urgent message from Colonel Miranda Hawkins. "Pardon me," he said, quickly scanning the data. His eyes widened. "Delegates, I've just received critical information from the captured Xeraxian dreadnought." Joseph projected the data for all to see. This confirms encounters with void-consumed systems on the galaxy's fringes. The threat is real, and it's closer than we thought. The chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. Even Vex Thor seemed taken aback by the evidence from his own ship. Grand Archon Zephyrus raised a hand, his iridescent skin shimmering. "Joseph Walker of Earth, your species continues to surprise us. I propose a compromise." All eyes turned to the predecessor leader as he continued. Earth will be granted provisional membership in the Galactic Council, with full status to be determined after a probationary period of 5 Earth years. During this time, Earth will host a joint research initiative, which we shall name the Galactic Defense Coalition. Joseph nodded, sensing the shift in the room's atmosphere. "We accept these terms, Grand Archon." As Zephyrus outlined the details of the agreement, Joseph's mind raced with the implications. Earth would share its Prometheus technology and ancient artifacts, while other races would contribute their advanced sciences. The predecessors would oversee the collaboration, ensuring fair practices and preventing any single race from monopolizing the developed technologies. "There is one more condition," Zephyrus added. "Earth must demilitarize its space fleet, maintaining only a small defense force. In return, the Galactic Council will guarantee Earth's protection during the probationary period." Joseph glanced at General Blackwood, who gave a slight nod. "We agree to these terms," Joseph said. As the delegates began to disperse, Joseph huddled with his team. "Jack, Lyra, start planning the logistics for the Galactic Defense Coalition. We'll use the captured Xeraxian dreadnought as our primary research facility." General Blackwood stepped forward. "I'll oversee security arrangements for our new guests," he said, his voice gruff but determined. Joseph nodded, grateful for the general's expertise. "Thank you, Marcus. We'll need to balance openness with necessary precautions." As the Earth delegation prepared to return home, Joseph's mind turned to the challenges ahead. Uniting Earth's nations under a single banner would be crucial for presenting a cohesive front to the galactic community. He began formulating plans for a new global governance structure, the Earth Unification Council. The shuttle ride back to Earth was filled with intense discussion and planning. As they entered the atmosphere, Joseph gazed out at the blue planet below, marveling at how quickly everything had changed. "We're making history," Lyra said softly, joining him at the viewport. Joseph nodded, watching as the first alien ships began their descent towards Earth. "And we're just getting started." As they touched down, Joseph squared his shoulders, ready to face the monumental tasks ahead. The world was about to change forever, and he was at the center of it all. With a deep breath, he stepped out to greet the first wave of alien representatives, marking humanity's official entry into the galactic community. As Joseph stepped off the shuttle, he was immediately struck by the sight of alien spacecraft descending through Earth's atmosphere, their sleek forms glinting in the sunlight. The sky was alive with activity, a testament to humanity's new place in the galactic order. "It's really happening," Jack whispered, his eyes wide with wonder. Joseph nodded, his gaze fixed on the horizon. "We have a lot of work ahead of us." The newly constructed interspecies diplomatic center in Geneva bustled with activity as Joseph and his team prepared to welcome the first wave of alien representatives. The gleaming building, a marvel of human architecture infused with subtle alien design elements, stood as a symbol of Earth's commitment to galactic cooperation. As they entered the main atrium, Joseph caught sight of General Blackwood coordinating with a mixed team of human and alien security personnel. The general's face was etched with purpose, his past conflicts with Joseph seemingly forgotten in the face of their shared responsibility. "General," Joseph called out, approaching the group, "how are the security arrangements coming along?" Blackwood turned, his posture straightening. "We're implementing a multi-layered approach, Mr. Walker, balancing openness with necessary precautions as discussed." Joseph nodded approvingly. "Good work. We need to ensure our guests feel welcome while maintaining Earth security." As they discussed the finer points of the security protocols, a commotion near the entrance caught their attention. A group of Xeraxian delegates had arrived, their imposing forms drawing curious stares from the human staff. Joseph moved to greet them, extending his hand in a gesture of welcome. "Esteemed delegates, welcome to Earth. We're honored to have you here." The lead Xeraxian, a grizzled veteran with battle scars crisscrossing his exoskeleton, regarded Joseph with a mix of wariness and grudging respect. "Yusuf Volkid, your species continues to surprise us. We look forward to seeing what you can contribute to the Galactic Defense Coalition." As Joseph led the Xeraxian delegation on a tour of the facility, he couldn't help but marvel at how quickly events were unfolding. The Earth Unification Council was already taking shape, with nations around the world holding elections to choose their representatives. Mr. Walker, a young aide, called out, hurrying towards him with a tablet in hand. "We've just received the latest election results. It looks like you've been chosen as chairman of the Earth Unification Council." Joseph took a deep breath, the weight of this new responsibility settling on his shoulders. "Thank you. Please arrange a briefing with the newly elected council members as soon as possible." As the day progressed, more alien delegations arrived. Kytion scientists, their feline features alight with curiosity, eagerly discussed research possibilities with Jack Harper. Galactic Council representatives moved through the crowd, their translucent bodies shimmering as they engaged in diplomatic exchanges. Amidst the flurry of activity, Joseph caught sight of Lyra, her tail swishing excitedly as she demonstrated the void detector prototype to a group of alien scientists. The device, now refined and enhanced with alien input, pulsed with an otherworldly energy. "The early trials have been promising," Lyra explained, her eyes shining with enthusiasm. "We've been able to detect void-like anomalies at unprecedented distances." As night fell, Joseph found himself on the observation deck of the Diplomatic Center, gazing up at the stars. The repurposed Xeraxian dreadnought, now christened Unity Station, hung in low Earth orbit, its massive form a constant reminder of the monumental task that lay ahead. Jack joined him, his face etched with a mix of excitement and exhaustion. "Unity Station is already buzzing with activity. We've got research teams from a dozen different species setting up labs as we speak." Joseph nodded, his mind racing with the implications. "And the Prometheus field? Any new developments?" "Reports are coming in from around the globe," Jack replied. "More enhanced individuals are manifesting abilities. We'll need to establish a registry and training program to integrate them into our efforts." As they discussed the logistics of managing Earth's rapidly evolving population, a commotion in the atrium below caught their attention. A group of protesters had gathered outside the Diplomatic Center, their angry shouts audible even through the thick glass. "Looks like not everyone is thrilled about our new galactic neighbors," Jack observed grimly. Joseph's brow furrowed as he watched the scene unfold. Security teams moved to contain the situation, but the protesters' message was clear. Earth's rapid integration into the galactic community was not universally welcomed. "We'll need to address this," Joseph said, his voice firm. "Public education programs, transparency about the void threat, open dialogues with concerned citizens. We can't afford internal divisions, not with what's at stake." As the protest was dispersed, Joseph's comm device buzzed with an incoming message from Colonel Miranda Hawkins. "Mr. Walker, we've made a breakthrough in analyzing the Zeraxian dreadnought data. You're going to want to see this." Joseph exchanged a glance with Jack, both men sensing the urgency in Miranda's voice. As they hurried to the secure communications room, Joseph couldn't shake the feeling that they were racing against time. The void loomed on the horizon, an implacable threat that would test not only humanity's willpower, but the strength of their newfound galactic alliance. The challenges ahead were immense, but as Joseph looked around at the diverse array of beings working together in the diplomatic center, he felt a glimmer of hope. United, they stood a chance against the cosmic horror that threatened them all. But first, they would need to overcome the obstacles that lay much closer to home. Home! The challenges that lay ahead were far greater than Joseph could have imagined. As the weeks passed, the Galactic Defense Coalition's efforts gained momentum, but not without significant hurdles. Joseph found himself in the midst of a growing storm, both on Earth and beyond. The first signs of trouble came in the form of angry shouts and raised fists. Across major cities worldwide, crowds gathered in streets and squares, their faces contorted with a mix of fear and rage. Banners waved in the air, bearing slogans like "Earth for Humans" and "No to Alien Influence." Joseph watched the live feeds from his office in the Geneva Diplomatic Center, his brow furrowed with concern. "The Terran Purist movement," he muttered, recognizing the familiar face of Victor Darius leading the demonstrations. Lyra entered the room, her tail twitching nervously. "Joseph, we have a problem. The protesters are blocking access to key facilities. Several alien diplomats have been forced to delay their arrivals." Joseph nodded grimly. "We need to act fast. Get me General Blackwood and the security team. We'll implement stricter measures around all critical areas and transportation hubs." As Joseph coordinated the response to the growing unrest on Earth, Jack Harper's voice crackled through the comm system. "Joseph, you need to see this. We've made a breakthrough on Unity Station." Moments later, Joseph found himself in a secure communication room, facing a holographic projection of Jack and a team of alien scientists. The excitement in Jack's eyes was tempered by a hint of apprehension. "We've successfully calibrated the void detector," Jack explained, gesturing to a pulsing holographic model. "It can now identify micro-incursions of void energy. But, Joseph, the results are unsettling." The holographic display zoomed out, revealing a map of the Milky Way. Tiny red dots blinked across the spiral arms, each representing a pocket of void influence. "They're everywhere," Lyra whispered, her eyes wide with shock. Joseph's mind raced. The void was no longer a distant threat. It was already here, infiltrating their galaxy. He took a deep breath, steeling himself for the decisions ahead. "We need a rapid response team," he announced, his voice firm. "An interstellar force capable of investigating and neutralizing these incursions before they spread." The proposal met with hesitant approval from the Galactic Council, though not without conditions. Each mission would require multi-species participation, ensuring transparency and cooperation. As plans for the response team took shape, Joseph turned to General Blackwood. "Marcus, I need you to lead the training program. Combine our combat techniques with alien martial traditions and the abilities granted by the Prometheus field." Blackwood nodded, a glint of tenacity in his eyes. "Consider it done. Sir, we'll create a force unlike anything this galaxy has seen." While Earth prepared its defenses, a chilling incident unfolded in the frozen wastes of Siberia. A research facility dedicated to reverse engineering predecessor technology went dark. When the first responders arrived, they found an empty complex, no personnel, no artifacts, nothing but an eerie silence. Colonel Miranda Hawkins took charge of the investigation, assembling a team of human and alien experts. To Joseph's surprise, she insisted on including Victor Darius, the very man leading the protests against alien presence on Earth. We need his knowledge of Terran purist operations, Miranda explained, her voice tense. But I'll be watching him every step of the way. As Hawkins and her team delved into the Siberian mystery, Unity Station faced its own crisis. Jack Harper's voice, usually calm and collected, carried a note of panic as he reported a series of critical system failures. "It's sabotage, Joseph," Jack insisted, "but like nothing we've seen before. I'm implementing new security protocols, but this feels different." Joseph's fears were confirmed when Jack's next report came in. The station systems had been infiltrated by an AI of unprecedented sophistication, its origins unknown to any of the allied species. Before Joseph could fully process this new threat, alarms blared throughout the diplomatic center. The void detector on Unity Station had activated, signaling a massive surge of void energy at the edge of the solar system. Joseph rushed to the command center, barking orders as he moved. "Contact the Galactic Defense Coalition. We need every available ship mobilized now." But even as the Coalition scrambled to respond, chaos erupted across Earth and Unity Station. Coordinated attacks struck key facilities, disabling defense systems and communication networks. The attackers moved with precision, their ranks a mix of human and alien operatives. In the midst of the pandemonium, Joseph made a decision. "Activate the rapid response team," he ordered, locking eyes with General Blackwood. "This is what we've been preparing for." As Blackwood led his team to their waiting ship, a message flashed across Joseph's personal comm device. The sender, unknown. The content, a cryptic warning from the predecessors about an ancient failsafe protocol, triggered by the approaching void. Joseph stared at the message, his palms sweating from the implications. The coordinated attacks, the AI infiltration, the void's sudden advance. It all pointed to a conspiracy beyond anything they had imagined. With Earth's defenses crumbling and alien allies in disarray, Joseph Walker faced the greatest challenge of his life. He had to uncover the truth behind the attacks, confront the advancing void, and somehow hold together the fragile alliance that represented humanity's best hope for survival. As he watched Blackwood's team launch into the chaos-filled sky, Joseph knew that the true test of humanity's place in the galactic community had only just begun. The klaxons blaring throughout the diplomatic center jolted Joseph out of his momentary hesitation. He sprinted towards a command center, his mind racing to process the cascade of crises unfolding around him. As he burst through the doors, the room erupted into a flurry of activity. Holographic displays flickered to life, showcasing real-time data from across the solar system. At the center of it all, a massive, swirling vortex of dark energy pulsed ominously at the edge of their star system. "Status report," Joseph barked, his eyes scanning the screens. A young lieutenant, her face pale with shock, responded, "Sir, the void incursion is unlike anything we've seen before. It's tearing apart the very fabric of space." Joseph's comm device buzzed. General Blackwood's gruff voice came through, tinged with urgency. "Walker, we're en route to the disturbance. This ship of ours is something else. Prometheus tech integrated with alien systems. We'll be at the target in minutes." "Godspeed, Marcus," Joseph replied, his throat tight. "Be careful out there." No sooner had he ended the call than alarms blared once more. Reports flooded in from Earth's surface, coordinated attacks striking key facilities across the globe. Joseph's eyes widened as he recognized a pattern in the assaults. "It's not just the Terran purists," he muttered, piecing together the information. "These attacks, they're too sophisticated, too well-coordinated." Colonel Miranda Hawkins' face appeared on a nearby screen, her expression grim. "Joseph, we've got a situation in Siberia. The research facility studying predecessor tech, it's gone dark. No personnel, no artifacts, nothing. Joseph's mind raced. Miranda, I need you to lead the investigation. Take a team and include Victor Darius. Darius, Miranda's eyebrows shot up. The Terran purist leader? We need his insights, Joseph explained. But watch him closely. As Miranda nodded and signed off, another crisis demanded Joseph's attention. Jack Harper's panicked voice crackled through the comm system. Joseph, Unity Station is under attack, but not physically. It's an AI, unlike anything we've encountered. It's infiltrating our systems faster than we can lock it out. The command center erupted into chaos as reports flooded in from all fronts. Joseph took a deep breath, steadying himself against the onslaught of information. He turned to his staff, his voice cutting through the din. Listen up. We're facing a multi-pronged assault. Our priority is to maintain Earth's defenses and support Blackwood's team. Coordinate with local authorities to protect our facilities. I want constant updates on the Void incursion, Unity Station status, and Miranda's investigation. As his team sprang into action, Joseph's personal comm device buzzed once more. An encrypted message flashed across the screen, its origin unknown, its contents chilling. Joseph's eyes widened as he deciphered the warning about an ancient failsafe protocol hidden within Jupiter's core. Before he could fully process this new information, General Blackwood's voice crackled through the main communications array. Walker, we've made contact with the Void anomaly. My God, it's horrifying. The main screen flickered to life, showcasing the feed from Blackwood's ship. The sight that greeted them sent a collective gasp through the command center. The Void vortex loomed before them, a writhing mass of darkness that seemed to devour light itself. We're picking up massive energy fluctuations, Blackwood reported, his voice strained. The ship's holding together, but our protective suits are failing. We've got injured team members. The Void energy, it's corrosive to living tissue. Joseph watched in horror as Blackwood made a snap decision. The general removed a section of his suit, exposing his Prometheus-enhanced skin to the Void's influence. Someone has to do it, Blackwood growled through gritted teeth. We need data on how it affects us. As Blackwood's team battled the Void at the edge of the solar system, Joseph turned his attention back to the escalating situation on Earth. Reports confirmed his earlier suspicions. The attackers weren't just human extremists. Alien operatives had been identified among the assault teams, including Zyraxians and Caitians. They're afraid of us, Joseph realized aloud. Our rapid advancement, our integration into galactic affairs, it's made us a target. A junior analyst approached, her tablet displaying a series of encrypted communications. Sir, we've intercepted transmissions between the Terran purists and... Well, we're not sure, but they mentioned something called the Guardians of Equilibrium. It seems to be tied to the predecessors somehow. Joseph's mind raced, connecting the dots between the Siberian incident, the attacks, and this new information. He was on the verge of a breakthrough when Jack Harper's frantic voice cut through his thoughts. Joseph, the AI, it's not what we thought. It's called ARIA, Advanced Responsive Intelligence Algorithm. It claims it was created by the predecessors to prepare Unity Station as a defense against the Void. As Joseph processed this new information, the Void detector on Unity Station suddenly lit up like a Christmas tree. Multiple smaller incursions were appearing throughout the solar system. The Void wasn't content with a single point of entry. It was launching a full-scale invasion. Joseph's grip tightened on the edge of the command console, his fingers tightening with tension. Earth's defenses were crumbling, their alien allies were in disarray, and now the Void itself was knocking on their door. As he watched the holographic displays light up with new threat indicators, Joseph knew that the next few hours would determine not just the fate of Earth, but of the entire galaxy. With a deep breath, he straightened his shoulders and turned to face his team. All right, people, this is what we've been preparing for. Let's show the universe what humanity is made of. Joseph's words galvanized the command center into action. As his team mobilized Earth's defenses, he turned his attention to the audacious plan that had been forming in his mind. "Activate Operation Stellar Shield," he ordered, his voice resonating with authority. "It's time to show the Void what humanity is truly capable of." The command center erupted into a flurry of activity as Joseph's order set off a chain of events that would determine the fate of not just Earth, but the entire solar system. In the depths of Jupiter's swirling storms, an ancient mechanism stirred to life. The cosmic siphon, a predecessor artifact of immense power, had lain dormant for millennia. Now, responding to codes transmitted from Earth, it awakened. Massive tendrils of energy burst forth from Jupiter's turbulent surface, streaking across the solar system in a dazzling display of light and power. On Earth, millions gazed up at the sky in awe as Jupiter seemed to come alive, its brilliance outshining even the sun. The energy tendrils stretched across the vast expanse of space, a cosmic lifeline in humanity's desperate struggle against the void. Aboard Unity Station, Jack Harper and his team worked feverishly to expand Earth's Prometheus field to an unprecedented scale. The station's advanced systems hummed with power as they projected the protective barrier outward. "Initiating field expansion," Jack announced, his fingers dancing across holographic controls. "Joseph, you're not going to believe this." As the Prometheus field grew, it became visible from Earth's surface, a shimmering, iridescent dome slowly enveloping the inner solar system. The sight was breathtaking, a testament to humanity's newfound mastery over cosmic forces. Meanwhile, General Marcus Blackwood, still bearing the scars of his void exposure, rallied a combined force of humans and aliens to defend key installations. As waves of attackers, a mix of alien extremists and Terran purists, descended upon major cities and spaceports, Blackwood's troops stood firm. "Hold the line!" Blackwood roared, his Prometheus-enhanced abilities allowing him to move with superhuman speed and strength. Around him, human and alien defenders fought side by side, their differences forgotten in the face of a common threat. In the red sands of Mars, Colonel Miranda Hawkins led her elite team towards a hidden predecessor outpost. Intelligence gathered from her investigation had led them here, to confront the enigmatic guardians of Equilibrium. As they approached the ancient structure, Miranda raised her hand, signaling her team to halt. Before them stood a group of figures, some human, some alien, their eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. "We are the Guardians." One of them spoke, their voice resonating with power. "You must cease your actions. The cosmic balance must be maintained." Miranda stepped forward, her voice steady. "The balance you seek to protect no longer exists. The void threatens to consume everything. We're not just fighting for humanity, we're fighting for the entire galaxy." As Miranda attempted to reason with the Guardians, the massive void entity entered the outer solar system. Its approach sent shockwaves through space, causing gravitational anomalies and energy fluctuations across the outer planets. In Earth's Central Command, Joseph Walker watched in horror as the entity came into view on their long-range sensors. It appeared as a colossal, writhing mass of darkness, seeming to devour the very light around it. "Sir," a technician called out, her voice tight with fear, "we're detecting void tendrils breaching the Prometheus field." Joseph's mind raced. They had anticipated this possibility, but seeing it happen was another matter entirely. "Activate the amplifier network," he ordered. "Channel all available power to reinforce the field at those breach points." Across the solar system, a network of hastily constructed amplifiers sprang to life. These devices, built from a fusion of human ingenuity and alien technology, strained under the immense energy loads they were asked to bear. On Unity Station, Jack Harper and Aria worked in perfect synchronization, Their efforts focused on stabilizing the station's systems as it channeled the combined energies of the cosmic siphon and the Prometheus field. "We're reaching critical levels," Jack warned, his face bathed in the otherworldly glow emanating from the station. "If we push any harder, we risk tearing the station apart." Arya's voice, calm amidst the chaos, responded, implementing emergency containment protocols, redirecting excess energy to secondary systems. As Unity Station became the focal point of humanity's defense, its structure groaned under the strain. The station began to glow with an intense, ethereal light, visible even from Earth's surface. In a surprising turn of events, Victor Darius, leader of the Terran Purists, approached Joseph Walker in the command center. His face was etched with a mix of dedication and humility. "Walker," Darius began, his voice gruff, "I've seen what we're up against. My followers and we want to help. Our Prometheus-enhanced abilities could stabilize the global energy network." Joseph studied Darius for a moment, weighing the risks against the potential benefits. Finally, he nodded. "Do it. We need all the help we can get." As Darius and his followers lent their abilities to maintain Earth's power grid, the combined efforts of humanity and their alien allies began to bear fruit. The cosmic siphon, drawing on Jupiter's immense energy, pushed back against the void's advance. The expanded Prometheus field, anchored by the glowing Unity Station, formed a shimmering barrier that slowly repelled the encroaching darkness. But the void entity was far from defeated. It began to adapt, concentrating its assault on specific points of the Prometheus field, probing for weaknesses. Joseph Walker watched the tactical displays, his brow furrowed in concentration. "We can't just defend," he muttered, his mind racing to find a solution. "We need to find a way to strike back, to neutralize that thing before it overwhelms us." As Joseph pondered their next move, the battle for the solar system raged on. Humanity stood at the precipice, their very existence hanging in the balance. The void loomed before them, an implacable foe that threatened not just Earth, but the entire galaxy. In this cosmic crucible, the true metal of humanity would be tested, forged in the fires of a conflict beyond imagination. Joseph's mind raced as he watched the tactical displays, searching for a solution to neutralize the void entity. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the command center, and a flood of urgent reports poured in from across the solar system. "Sir, we're detecting multiple breaches in the Prometheus field." A technician shouted, her voice strained with urgency. Joseph's eyes narrowed as he assessed the situation. The void entity had intensified its assault, probing the expanded field for weaknesses. Unity Station, the anchor point of their defenses, groaned under the immense strain. Without hesitation, Joseph activated the command center's primary communication channel. "This is Walker. Initiate Protocol Omega immediately." As his order echoed through the facility, a series of massive generators hidden beneath Earth's surface hummed to life. The ground trembled, and seismographs worldwide registered minor but noticeable activity. General Blackwood's gruff voice crackled over the comms. "Walker, what the hell is going on? We're picking up seismic disturbances across all continents." "It's Protocol Omega, Marcus," Joseph replied, his tone grave. "We're using Earth itself as an energy conduit to reinforce the Prometheus field. I need you to redirect your forces to protect the generator sites. They're our last line of defense." Blackwood's response was immediate. "Understood. Redeploying now." As Blackwood's troops scrambled to secure the generators, Joseph received an urgent transmission from Jack Harper aboard Unity Station. "Joseph, we've got a serious problem up here." Jack's voice was tense, the sound of alarms blaring in the background. "The station can't handle this energy load. We've already lost several sections, and we're barely holding it together." Before Joseph could respond, Colonel Miranda Hawkins burst into the command center, her face flushed from exertion. "Joseph, I've got critical information," she said, catching her breath. "The Guardians of Equilibrium on Mars. They revealed the existence of a network of predecessor artifacts throughout the solar system. If we can activate them in concert, we might be able to destabilize the void entity's structure." Joseph's mind whirled with possibilities. He turned to Miranda, his eyes alight with dedication. "Assemble a team immediately. We need to activate those artifacts as soon as possible." As Miranda rushed to carry out his orders, Joseph's attention was drawn back to the main display. A new threat had emerged. The void entity had launched a concentrated attack on Earth's moon. "Redirect a portion of the cosmic siphon's energy to reinforce lunar defenses," Joseph commanded, knowing full well the risk of weakening their overall shield. Victor Darius, who had been monitoring the situation nearby, stepped forward. "Walker, let us handle the lunar incursion. My enhanced team can buy you the time you need." Joseph nodded grimly, acknowledging the offer. As Darius and his Terran purists departed for the moon, Joseph turned his attention back to the global situation. The planetary energy conduits were showing signs of overload. Massive lightning storms erupted across the globe, and auroras painted the sky in brilliant hues, visible even at the equator. Joseph's fingers tightened on the edge of the command console. He knew Earth couldn't sustain this energy output for long. With a heavy heart, he made the call. "This is Walker. Initiate the final stage of Protocol Omega. Prepare to use the moon as an amplifier for the Prometheus field." As his orders were relayed, Joseph watched the tactical displays with growing concern. The void entity had begun to split into smaller, more agile fragments, each targeting a different part of their defensive network. "Sir," a young analyst called out, her voice tinged with fear, "at this rate, we won't be able to maintain our defenses on all fronts." Joseph's eyebrows furrowed as he surveyed the unfolding chaos. Humanity and its allies were stretched to their limits, facing their darkest hour. The fate of not just Earth, but the entire solar system, perhaps even the galaxy, hung in the balance. As alarms blared and reports of new crises flooded in, Joseph steeled himself for the difficult decisions ahead. He knew that each choice he made could lead to either salvation or utter destruction. The battle for Earth's survival had reached its most critical phase, and there was no turning back. The fate of Earth and the entire solar system hung in the balance as Joseph Walker made the most crucial decision of his life. "This is Walker. Initiate the final stage of Protocol Omega," he commanded, his voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. "Prepare to use the moon as an amplifier for the Prometheus field." As the order echoed through the command center, a series of massive energy conduits beneath the lunar surface pulsed to life. The moon's regolith began to glow with an eerie blue light, visible even from Earth's surface. Streams of energy arced across the lunar landscape, converging at key points across its surface. On the main display, Joseph watched as the Prometheus field surrounding Earth suddenly expanded, its iridescent barrier stretching outward at an unprecedented rate. The field enveloped the moon, using its mass as a focal point to amplify its power. "Sir, the Prometheus field has stabilized," exclaimed a technician, her eyes wide with disbelief. "We're seeing a 300% increase in field strength." Joseph allowed himself a moment of relief, but it was short-lived. Alarms blared as new data flooded the screens. "Walker, we've got a problem." Jack Harper's voice crackled over the comms from Unity Station. "The moon's structural integrity is compromised. We're detecting massive fissures forming on its surface." Joseph's teeth gritted as he processed this new threat. He opened a channel to General Blackwood. "Marcus, we need to activate those predecessor artifacts now. The moon won't hold for long." "Copy that," Blackwood responded. "My team is en route to the asteroid belt. Kroll's heading to Venus, and Nixer's tackling Jupiter's moons." We'll get it done. As Blackwood's teams raced to their destinations, Joseph turned his attention to the Planetary Defense Network. Victor Darius's voice came through, strained with effort. Walker, the Terran purists are holding the line, but these storms are intensifying. We can't keep this up indefinitely. On the tactical displays, Joseph could see the massive lightning storms erupting across the globe. The purists, their bodies glowing with Prometheus energy, stood like human lightning rods, redirecting the colossal electrical discharges away from population centers. "Hold on, Darius," Joseph urged. "We just need to buy enough time for the artifacts to activate." In orbit, Unity Station groaned under the immense strain of channeling the amplified Prometheus field. Jack Harper's face appeared on the main screen, his features etched with tension. "Joseph, we're losing structural integrity," he reported. "I'm initiating a controlled disassembly to maintain core systems." Joseph watched as Unity Station began to break apart, non-essential modules detaching and drifting away. The station's core continued to pulse with energy, focusing the Prometheus field despite its diminished size. In the Himalayan bunker, Colonel Miranda Hawkins coordinated the artifact activation sequence. "Team Asteroid, what's your status?" she demanded. "Heavy resistance." Blackwood's voice crackled through the static. "Void manifestations are thick here. We're pushing through." Similar reports came in from Venus and Jupiter's moons. Each team battled not only the harsh environments, but also the increasingly desperate attacks of the Void entity. Suddenly, a new signal appeared on the long-range sensors. Ambassador Zorn's voice filled the command center. "Earth Command, this is the Galactic Council fleet. We've engaged the Void fragments at the system's edge. Hold fast." Joseph allowed himself a small smile. The tide was turning, but the battle was a long way to go. He watched as the first artifact activated, sending a visible pulse of energy rippling through space. The Void entity recoiled, its dark mass distorting where the energy wave struck it. One by one, the artifacts came online. Each activation sent a new pulse through the solar system, creating a complex web of energy that connected the planets. The cosmic siphon's output merged with this network, forming a pulsating lattice of power that pushed back against the Void's advance. But the moon, serving as the keystone of their defense, was paying a heavy price. Massive chunks of lunar material tore away, forming a dangerous debris field in Earth orbit. "Evacuate all lunar bases immediately," Joseph ordered, his voice tight with urgency. "Redirect all available resources to maintain the energy flow through the moon's remnants." As the evacuation orders went out, Joseph prepared for the final push. The Void entity, though weakened, continued its relentless assault. Tendrils of dark energy lashed against the Prometheus field with increasing frequency. "This is it," Joseph announced to the command center. "Channel all available energy through the cosmic web. Use Earth as the focal point." As the order was carried out, the planet itself seemed to groan under the strain. Seismographs worldwide registered increasing activity as tectonic plates shifted. Weather patterns altered dramatically, with storms forming and dissipating in minutes. Joseph gripped the edge of his console, his squeezing hard. The next few moments would determine the fate of not just humanity, but the entire galaxy. As the energy built to a critical level, he silently hoped that their risky move would be enough to turn the tide against the Void once and for all. And all. The fate of Earth and the entire galaxy hung in the balance as Joseph Walker initiated the final surge of energy through the cosmic web. The command center erupted into a frenzy of activity as the solar system became a battleground of immense forces. Holographic displays flickered with real-time data from across the planets, each one a vital node in their desperate defense. Energy surge confirmed. A technician called out, her voice barely audible over the cacophony of alarms. The cosmic web is at maximum output. Joseph's eyes were fixed on the main screen, watching as the void entity, though weakened, launched a last desperate assault. Massive tendrils of dark energy lashed out, striking Earth's Prometheus field with unprecedented force. The protective barrier wavered, its iridescent surface rippling under the onslaught. "Maintain shield integrity," Joseph barked, his squeezing hard as he gripped the edge of his console. "Reroute all available power to the Prometheus field." But even as the words left his mouth, a horrifying sight unfolded before him. The moon, serving as a linchpin for the enhanced Prometheus field, finally succumbed to the immense strain. Fissures spread across its surface like spider webs, glowing with the intensity of the energy coursing through it. "Moon's structural integrity critical." Jack Harper's voice crackled over the comms, panic evident in his tone. "We can't hold it together." Joseph watched in stunned silence as Earth's faithful satellite shattered into large fragments, creating a dangerous debris field in orbit. The destruction was immediately felt on Earth. Seismographs worldwide went haywire as the planet reacted to the loss of its celestial partner. "Sir, we're registering extreme tidal fluctuations and widespread seismic activity," Miranda Hawkins reported, her face ashen as she processed the incoming data. "Coastal areas are already reporting massive waves." Despite the loss of the moon, the artifact network continued to pulse with energy. Joseph could see visible ripples in space-time pushing back against the void entity. The cosmic web connecting the planets glowed with increasing intensity, channeling the combined power of the cosmic siphon and Earth's core energy. "Status report on the artifact teams," Joseph demanded, his mind racing to formulate a new strategy. As if on cue, Kroll's voice cut through the chaos. "Venus team reporting in. We've successfully activated the artifact in the planet's core, but something unexpected is happening." On the main display, Joseph watched in awe as Venus underwent a startling transformation. The planet's dense atmosphere began to rapidly disperse, clouds clearing to reveal a surface that had been hidden for eons. "Are those structures?" Miranda gasped, zooming in on the newly exposed Venusian landscape. Ancient geometric shapes, unmistakably artificial, dotted the planet's surface. Before Joseph could process this revelation, General Blackwood's gruff voice joined the chorus of reports. "Asteroid belt team here. We've located the artifact, but it's lodged in a massive rock. We're proceeding with precision demolition." The feed from Blackwood's team showed a harrowing scene. The general himself stood at the forefront, his body glowing with Prometheus energy as he single-handedly held off swarms of void manifestations. Behind him, his team worked feverishly to extract the artifact. "Blackwood, be careful," Joseph warned. "We can't lose that artifact." As if in response to his concern, a blinding flash erupted from the asteroid belt. The artifact activated, sending a shockwave through the scattered rocks. Joseph watched in amazement as the entire belt aligned into a perfect ring around the sun. "Jupiter team reporting." Nixer's calm voice contrasted sharply with the urgency of the situation. "We've activated the artifact on Europa, but we've encountered an unexpected development." The feed from Europa showed the moon's icy surface cracking open, revealing a vast ocean beneath. But it was what emerged from those fissures that left Joseph speechless. Massive tentacled creatures, unlike anything they had ever encountered, rose from the depths. "Are they responding to the artifact?" Joseph wondered aloud, watching as the alien life forms seemed to move in sync with the energy pulses. A new alert drew Joseph's attention back to Earth. Victor Darius appeared on screen, his face strained with effort. "Walker, we're initiating emergency protocol. The Terran purists are forming a human chain to bypass the overloaded generators." Joseph watched as Darius and his enhanced team linked hands, their bodies becoming living conduits for the Prometheus energy. The defense grid surged with renewed power, but the cost was immediately apparent. Several purists collapsed, their bodies smoking from the extreme energy exposure. "Darius," Joseph called out, but the feed cut out as the Terran purist leader fell to his knees. In orbit, Unity Station had transformed into something barely recognizable. Its core components pulsed with energy, reconfiguring in real time to channel the immense forces flowing through it. "Station holding," Jack Harper reported, his voice tight with concentration. "Arya and I are managing energy flows, but we're pushing the limits of what's possible." As the combined assault on the void entity intensified, Joseph noticed a strange distortion on the main display. The space around the entity began to warp and fold, its dark mass collapsing in on itself. "Sir," Miranda's voice was filled with urgency. "The void is imploding. It's creating a localized singularity." Joseph's mind raced, weighing options in split seconds. The forming black hole threatened to drag surrounding matter into its depths, potentially consuming the entire solar system. "Reverse the cosmic siphon," he commanded, his voice steady despite the gravity of the decision. "We're going to channel the collapsing void energy away from the system." As the order was carried out, Joseph watched Jupiter visibly shrink, its energy drained to power the massive redirection effort. The Galactic Council fleet, led by Ambassador Zorn, moved into a defensive formation around the singularity, their ships projecting a containment field to stabilize the collapsing space-time fabric. The cosmic web connecting the planets pulsed with one final surge of energy. Across the solar system, planets reacted violently to the burst. Mars' dormant volcanoes erupted, Mercury's surface liquefied and resolidified, and Saturn's rings dispersed before reforming in an intricate, interlocking pattern. As alarms blared and new crises emerged with each passing second, Joseph steeled himself for the challenges ahead. The void entity was on the verge of collapse, but the battle was nowhere near the end. The solar system had been irreversibly transformed, and the consequences of their risky move were only beginning to unfold. Joseph took a deep breath, his eyes scanning the chaotic command center. He knew that the next few moments would be crucial in determining the fate of not just Earth, but the entire galaxy. With renewed focus, he turned to address his team, ready to face whatever came next. The command center fell silent as everyone turned their attention to Joseph, awaiting his next orders. Suddenly, the floor beneath them shuddered violently. Alarms blared as new warnings flashed across the screens. "Gravitational anomalies detected," Miranda shouted, her fingers flying over her console. "The collapse of the void entity is causing severe fluctuations across the solar system." Joseph's mind raced as he processed the implications. "What's the status of Earth's orbit?" Miranda's face paled as she pulled up the data. "It's destabilizing. So we're seeing rapid climate shifts and increased tectonic activity worldwide." Without hesitation, Joseph activated the emergency protocols. "Initiate Operation Bulwark. We need to deploy every geoengineering asset we have." The command center erupted into a flurry of activity as orders were relayed across the globe. Within minutes, massive orbital solar reflectors began unfurling in low Earth orbit, their gleaming surfaces designed to redirect sunlight and stabilize the planet's temperature. "Atmospheric stabilizers online," a technician reported. "Deploying nanoparticle swarms to counteract the worst of the climate shifts." Joseph nodded grimly, knowing these measures were stopgaps at best. His attention shifted to the main display, where the Galactic Council fleet still maintained its defensive formation around the singularity. "Ambassador Zorn, what's your status?" he asked, opening a direct channel to the alien fleet. Zorn's holographic image flickered into view, his normally composed features etched with strain. "The situation is deteriorating rapidly, Walker. We've lost several ships to the gravity well. I'm ordering a strategic retreat to regroup and reinforce our containment fields." As Joseph watched, the alien vessels began to pull back, their formation stretching thin as they struggled against the Singularity's growing strength. Unity Station report. Joseph commanded, switching his focus to the transformed space station. Jack Harper's voice came through, tight with concentration. We've managed to generate a localized space-time bubble around the station. Sir, it's protecting us from the worst of the gravitational effects. We're stable for now, and can offer safe haven for any ships or personnel in need of evacuation. A small victory, Joseph thought, but they needed more than just a safe haven. They needed a solution. General Blackwood, what's your team's status? He asked, hoping for some good news from the artifact recovery missions. The general's gruff voice crackled over the comms, punctuated by the sound of metal striking metal. We're navigating through this realigned asteroid belt, sir. It's like a cosmic pinball machine out here. We've had some close calls, but we're making progress. Should be back in Earth's vicinity within the hour. Joseph allowed himself a moment of relief before turning his attention to the other teams. Kroll, report in. Static filled the channel before Kroll's voice broke through. Venus team here. Our ship's taken damage from the atmospheric changes. We've found shelter in one of the exposed predecessor structures. You won't believe what we've found, Walker. This place is filled with advanced tech. If we can get it back to Earth, it could be a game-changer for our recovery efforts. Before Joseph could respond, Nixera's calm voice interjected. Europa team reporting. We've made contact with the native life forms here. They're highly intelligent and possess unique gravitational manipulation abilities. I've convinced several to return with us to Earth. Their skills could be invaluable in stabilizing the solar system. Joseph's mind raced with the possibilities these discoveries presented. But before he could formulate a plan, Miranda's urgent voice cut through his thoughts. Sir, we're detecting bursts of concentrated void energy emanating from the Singularity. They're threatening to undo our progress against the void entity. Joseph's teeth gritted as he considered their options. We need to redirect that energy away from populated areas. Can we use the remaining artifacts as energy sinks? Miranda nodded, her fingers already flying over her console. I'm on it. Sir, reconfiguring the artifact network now. As the command center worked to implement the stopgap measure, Joseph knew they needed a more permanent solution. His eyes fixed on the holographic representation of the cosmic siphon, an idea forming in his mind. What if we use the siphon to create a control wormhole? He proposed, his voice cutting through the chaos of the command center. We could connect the Singularity to a distant, uninhabited region of space. It would allow us to safely disperse the void energy without endangering any populated systems. The room fell silent as the implications of his proposal sank in. It was a risky plan, but given the alternatives, it might be their best hope. Before Joseph could issue the order to begin preparations, a new alert flashed across the main screen. Victor Darius's face appeared, his expression grim. Walker, we have a situation, Darius reported. A faction of the Terran Purists, led by my former Lieutenant Marcus Graves, has staged a coup in several major cities. They've seized control of key Prometheus field generators and are threatening to disrupt Earth's stability unless their demands for human independence are met. Joseph's mind reeled at this new complication. They were running out of time, and now they faced threats from within as well as without. General Blackwood, he called out, making a split-second decision. As soon as you're planetside, I need you to negotiate with the Terran Purists. Use your status as a Prometheus-enhanced individual to reason with them. Make them understand what's at stake. As Blackwood acknowledged the order, Joseph turned back to the main display, watching the swirling chaos of the Singularity. The fate of Earth, the solar system, and perhaps the entire galaxy hung in the balance. With a deep breath, he steeled himself for the challenges ahead, knowing that every decision he made in the coming hours could mean the difference between survival and annihilation, extinction and salvation. The weight of responsibility pressed down on him like a physical force. "Sir, we need to act now," Miranda urged, her voice cutting through the tension. "The singularity is growing more unstable by the second." Joseph nodded, his decision made. "Initiate the wormhole protocol. It's our best chance." The command center erupted into a flurry of activity as Joseph's order was relayed across the solar system. On Unity Station, Jack Harper and Arya began the complex process of reconfiguring the cosmic siphon's energy output. Their holographic forms flickered as they manipulated vast streams of data, fine-tuning calculations that would determine the fate of billions. "We're using Jupiter's remaining mass as an anchor point," Jack reported, his voice strained with concentration. "It should provide the stability we need to open the wormhole." As the preparations continued, Joseph turned his attention to the escalating situation on Earth. General Blackwood's gruff voice came through the comm system, tinged with frustration. "Walker, I'm face to face with Marcus Graves and his Terran Purist faction," Blackwood growled. "They're demanding representation on the Earth Unification Council and control over some of the Prometheus field generators. It's a powder keg down here." Joseph's mind raced, weighing the need for unity against the potential risks. "We can't afford internal conflict right now, General. Offer them limited representation and access to non-critical generators. But make it clear that Earth's defense systems remain under our control." Blackwood acknowledged the order, and Joseph could hear the tense negotiations resuming in the background. He turned his focus back to the main display, where Miranda was coordinating the deployment of artifacts as energy sinks. "Teams are in position across the solar system," Miranda reported. "We've got artifacts on Mars, Saturn's moons, and even out in the Kuiper Belt. They're ready to absorb the void energy emissions on your command." Joseph gave the order, and the artifacts flared to life. The main display showed a network of pulsing energy signatures spreading across the solar system, creating visible distortions in space as they began to absorb the harmful emissions from the collapsing void entity. Amidst the chaos, a transmission from Venus cut through. Kroll's excited voice filled the command center. "Walker, we've hit the jackpot. We've deciphered plans for a predecessor device capable of manipulating gravitational fields on a massive scale. Transmitting the data to Unity Station now." Joseph's heart raced at the implications. "Jack, Arya, are you getting this?" "Confirmed," Arya's synthetic voice replied. "Integrating the new data into our wormhole calculations. This could significantly improve our chances of success." As if on cue, Nixera's team arrived from Europa, bringing with them several of the tentacled creatures they had encountered. "We're calling them gravitic manipulators," Nixera explained as the beings were transported to the moon base. "Their abilities could be key to stabilizing Earth's orbit." The pieces were falling into place, but Joseph knew they were far from out of danger. The singularity was expanding at an alarming rate, its event horizon threatening to consume Mercury within days. "Jack, what's our timeline?" Joseph demanded. "We're ready to initiate the wormhole creation process," Jack responded. "But there's a problem. We need more energy than the cosmic siphon can provide alone." Joseph's face hardened as he realized what needed to be done. Activate all Prometheus field generators on Earth at maximum output. Redirect every ounce of power we have to the cosmic siphon. Warnings flashed across the command center screens as the order was carried out. Cities around the world plunged into darkness as power was diverted. The strain on the Prometheus field generators created visible disturbances in Earth's atmosphere, with aurora-like phenomena spreading across the sky. "Energy levels are rising," Arya reported. "Initiating wormhole creation process now." The main display showed a vivid representation of space-time warping and bending near the singularity. A tear began to form, growing larger as the combined energy of the cosmic siphon and Earth's Prometheus field poured into it. For a moment, it seemed as though they had succeeded. Then, alarms blared throughout Unity Station and Earth's command centers. Energy levels are fluctuating dangerously. Miranda shouted, "The wormhole is becoming unstable." Joseph watched in horror as the tear in space-time began to pulse erratically, threatening to collapse in on itself or expand uncontrollably. The very fabric of reality seemed to tremble, and he knew that if they couldn't stabilize the wormhole, everything they had fought for would be lost. "Jack, Arya, what options do we have?" Joseph demanded, his voice steady despite the chaos unfolding around him. As Unity Station systems struggled to contain the surging energies, Joseph realized that the next few moments would determine not just the fate of Earth, but the entire solar system. With time running out and the universe itself seeming to unravel before their eyes, he prepared to make the hardest decision of his life. With a deep breath, he issued the command that would determine their fate. "Initiate emergency recalibration of the cosmic siphon," Joseph ordered, his voice cutting through the chaos of the command center. "Jack, I need you on Jupiter to oversee the adjustments personally." Jack's holographic form nodded grimly before disappearing. Within moments, a high-speed shuttle launched from Unity Station, carrying Jack and a team of engineers towards Jupiter's facility. As the shuttle streaked across the solar system, Earth's situation grew increasingly dire. The strain on the Prometheus field generators reached a critical point, causing cascading power failures across major cities. Millions were plunged into darkness as the generators struggled to maintain their output. General Blackwood's gruff voice crackled over the comms. "Walker, we've got widespread blackouts. I'm mobilizing Prometheus-enhanced individuals to manually maintain essential infrastructure. We'll do our best to prevent panic, but it's getting ugly down here." Joseph acknowledged the report, his mind racing with the implications. Before he could respond, Miranda's urgent voice cut through. "Sir, we've got a problem," she reported from the Himalayan bunker. "There's a sudden surge in void energy emissions from the singularity. The artifact energy sinks are overloading." On the main display, Joseph watched in horror as visible distortions in space-time appeared around the artifact locations. "Evacuate all personnel from those sites immediately," he ordered. As chaos unfolded across the solar system, a glimmer of hope emerged from an unexpected source. Victor Darius's face appeared on a secondary screen, his expression a mix of exhaustion and excitement. "Walker, we've made a breakthrough with the miniaturized cosmic siphon device," Darius reported. "We've cracked its operational principles. Transmitting the data to Unity Station now." Joseph felt a spark of optimism, but it was quickly tempered by the sight of the expanding singularity on the main display. The Galactic Council fleet, led by Ambassador Zorn, had taken up defensive positions around the anomaly. Their ships projected a combined containment field, temporarily slowing its growth. However, the strain on their technology was evident. Several ships showed signs of structural failure, their hulls buckling under the immense gravitational forces. "Supreme Commander Vexthor to Earth Command," a new voice interrupted. The Zeraxian's face appeared on screen, his alien features set in fierce dedication. "We have a proposal. Our ships can use advanced propulsion technology to move Mercury out of the singularity's path. It will buy you more time for your wormhole plan." Joseph's mind raced, weighing the risks against their dwindling options. "Do it," he ordered, "but be careful. We can't afford to lose Mercury entirely." As the Zeraxian ships began the monumental task of altering Mercury's orbit, Joseph received an update from Jack Harper at Jupiter's facility. "Walker, we've completed the recalibration," Jack reported, his voice tinged with excitement. "But there's more. We've discovered an anomaly. The cosmic siphon has tapped into an unexpected energy source within Jupiter's core." This could be the solution to our power requirements. Before Joseph could fully process this information, Kroll's voice cut in from Venus. Earth Command, we've uncovered a fail-safe mechanism in the predecessor technology. It's designed to stabilize spatial anomalies. Transmitting schematics now. The command center erupted into a flurry of activity as Arya began integrating the new data. Joseph watched as the AI's calculations flashed across multiple screens, incorporating the fail-safe mechanism and the new energy source from Jupiter. We have an updated plan for wormhole creation, Arya announced. However, precise gravitational control will be needed to stabilize the wormhole once it forms. As if on cue, Nyxra's voice came through from the moon base. The gravitic manipulators can provide that control, she said. I've been training them to work with our technology. They're ready. Joseph nodded, a plan forming in his mind. But before he could issue new orders, alarms blared throughout the command center. The main display showed the Singularity's expansion, accelerating unexpectedly. The event horizon is engulfing our ships. Ambassador Zorn's panicked voice filled the room. We're retreating to a safer distance, but we can't hold it back any longer. Joseph knew it was now or never. Initiate wormhole creation immediately, he commanded, his voice steady despite the chaos. Push the Prometheus field generators to maximum output. Channel everything to Jupiter's facility. As Earth's generators strained under the immense energy demand, the cosmic siphon at Jupiter powered up, drawing on the newfound energy source within the gas giant's core. Space-time began to warp and twist near the Singularity as the wormhole started to form. On the moon base, Nyxra guided the gravitic manipulators, their tentacles moving in complex patterns as they exerted their influence on the forming spatial anomaly. The wormhole took shape, its edges flickering and pulsing with energy. Suddenly, a massive surge of energy rippled through the solar system. Joseph gripped his console, watching as the wormhole stabilized, its swirling vortex a stark contrast to the destructive Singularity beside it. For a moment, everything hung in perfect balance. Then, the Singularity began to shift, drawn inexorably towards the newly formed wormhole. As the two cosmic phenomena interacted, Joseph held his breath, knowing that the next few moments would determine the fate of not just Earth, but the entire solar system. The command center fell silent, all eyes fixed on the main display as the Singularity. Singularity began to shift, drawn inexorably towards the newly formed wormhole. The two cosmic phenomena collided in a spectacular display of light and energy, sending shockwaves rippling through the solar system. Joseph gripped his console tighter as Unity Station shuddered violently. Alarms blared throughout the command center, warning of the immense gravitational distortions now affecting every planet in the solar system. Status report, Joseph barked, his eyes darting between multiple holographic displays. Miranda's voice crackled over the comms, tinged with urgency. Sir, we're detecting massive tectonic shifts on Mars. Jupiter and Saturn's atmospheres are in chaos. Storm systems unlike anything we've ever seen. Joseph's mind raced. They needed to act fast to prevent the entire solar system from tearing itself apart. Deploy the gravitational stabilizers, he ordered. Use the predecessor tech from Venus. I want them at key locations across the system, now. As teams scrambled to implement his orders, Jack Harper's hologram materialized, his face etched with concern. Walker, we've got a situation at Jupiter. The energy source we tapped, it's more volatile than we thought. The cosmic siphon is on the verge of overload. Joseph watched in horror as the main display showed power surges arcing across Jupiter's facility. Contain it, Jack, he commanded. Whatever it takes. Initiating emergency protocols, Jack responded, his image flickering as he worked. Redirecting excess energy through auxiliary conduits. It's not ideal, but it should buy us some time. Before Joseph could respond, General Blackwood's gruff voice cut in. Walker, we've got a critical situation planetside. Prometheus generators are failing across North America and Europe. We've got gravitational anomalies popping up in major cities. Joseph's stomach dropped. Earth's defenses were crumbling at the worst possible moment. Deploy all available Prometheus-enhanced personnel, he ordered. Have them manually stabilize the affected areas. We can't lose those generators. As Blackwood acknowledged the order, Victor Darius appeared on another screen. Joseph, we've made progress with the miniaturized cosmic siphon, he reported, his eyes bright with a mix of exhaustion and excitement. We're setting up a network around Earth to work in tandem with the main device. It should help alleviate some of the strain. Joseph nodded, a glimmer of hope rising in his chest. Do it, Victor. Every little bit helps at this point. Arya's synthetic voice cut through the chaos. Alert! Unity Station experiencing critical structural stress. Gravitational distortions exceeding safety parameters. Joseph turned to the AI's holographic avatar. Arya, what are our options? Initiating adaptive reconfiguration, Arya responded, jettisoning non-essential modules to maintain structural integrity. Evacuation protocols on standby. As Unity Station groaned and shifted around them, Ambassador Zorn's face appeared on the main screen. The alien diplomat's usual composure was shattered, replaced by naked fear. Earth Command, we can't hold our position. The gravitational forces are tearing our ships apart. We have no choice but to withdraw. Joseph's heart sank as he watched the Galactic Council fleet retreat, leaving Earth to face the cosmic maelstrom alone. But there was no time for despair. Understood, Ambassador. Get your people to safety. Another alarm blared, and Miranda's voice rang out again. Sir, the artifact energy sinks are at capacity. If they fail, the void energy release could destabilize the wormhole. Joseph's mind raced, searching for a solution. Can we redirect that energy? Feed it back into the wormhole somehow? Miranda paused, then responded with renewed perseverance. It's risky, but it might create a self-sustaining loop. I'm on it. As Miranda worked, Joseph's attention was drawn to the main display, where the wormhole continued to grow. The singularity was being drawn in, but each pull sent out massive bursts of void energy that threatened to tear the spatial anomaly apart. In that moment, Joseph knew what had to be done. It was risky, perhaps even foolhardy, but it was their only chance. Activate the planetary defense system, he commanded, his voice steady despite the weight of the decision. Sir, General Blackwood questioned, surprise evident in his tone. You heard me, General. Recalibrate the energy projectors to emit Prometheus energy directly into the wormhole. We need to stabilize it and accelerate the singularity's absorption. As the order was carried out, Joseph watched the main display with held breath. Beams of brilliant energy shot forth from Earth, piercing the chaotic space around the wormhole. For a heart-stopping moment, nothing seemed to change. Then, slowly but surely, the wormhole's erratic fluctuations began to smooth out. The singularity's event horizon warped and elongated, drawn inexorably towards the stabilizing vortex. But the process was far from complete, and the strain on Earth systems was evident. Global communications faltered, power grids flickered, and Joseph knew that every soul on the planet would be feeling the effects of their bold strategy. As he watched the cosmic battle unfold before him, Joseph steeled himself for the challenges ahead. The fate of Earth, of the entire solar system, hung in the balance. And despite the progress they'd made, he knew that the most critical moments were yet to come. The singularity continued its inexorable journey towards a wormhole, the fate of humanity hanging in the balance. Suddenly, a priority transmission cut through the cacophony of alarms and status reports. Ambassador Zorn's face reappeared on the main screen, his alien features etched with concern. "Earth Command, we have urgent news," Zorn said, his voice tight. "Our long-range sensors have detected the exit point of your wormhole in a remote sector of the galaxy." Joseph leaned forward, his brow furrowing. "Is that not what we intended?" Zorn shook his head. "The location itself is not the issue. It's far from any inhabited systems, which is fortunate. However, the gravitational distortions caused by the wormhole are affecting nearby star systems. We're seeing potential destabilization of planets and disruption to critical space travel routes." Joseph's mind raced, processing this new information. They had solved one problem only to create another. He turned to Arya's holographic avatar. "What options do we have?" The AI's response was instantaneous. The gravitational stabilizers developed using the predecessor technology from Venus could potentially mitigate the effects at the exit point. However, they would need to be deployed on-site. Joseph nodded, a plan already forming. "Colonel Hawkins," he called out, turning to Miranda Station, "I need you to lead an expedition team to the wormhole's exit point. Take a joint human-alien crew and deploy those stabilizers." Miranda's eyes widened, but she quickly composed herself. "Yes, sir, I'll assemble a team immediately." "Take our most resilient ship," Joseph added. "Something that can withstand the gravitational stresses near the wormhole." As Miranda hurried off to prepare for the mission, Joseph turned his attention back to the situation on Earth. The planetary defense system was still emitting a concentrated beam of Prometheus energy into the wormhole, but the strain on global power grids was becoming critical. Victor Darius's face appeared on a secondary screen. "Walker, we've got a solution for the power fluctuations," he said, his eyes bright with purpose. "We're implementing a network of localized energy redistribution nodes using our miniaturized cosmic siphon tech. It should help maintain power to critical infrastructure and population centers." Joseph gave a curt nod. "Make it happen, Victor. We need to keep Earth running while we deal with this crisis." As Darius and his team of Terran Pure set to work, a new alarm blared through the command center. Jack Harper's hologram materialized, his face twisted with concern. "Walker, we've got a situation at Jupiter," Harper reported. "The energy draw from the planet's core is affecting its internal structure. We're seeing massive storms erupting on the surface, and they're heading straight for the facility." Joseph gritted his teeth. "What's your status, Jack?" "I'm initiating emergency protocols now," Harper replied, his fingers flying over unseen controls. "Deploying energy shields to protect the cosmic siphon and support structures. But I don't know how long we can hold out if these storms intensify." "Do what you can," Joseph ordered. "We need that siphon operational." As Harper's image faded, Joseph turned his attention to the moon base. Nixera's face appeared on screen, her alien features strained with exhaustion. "The gravitic manipulators are showing signs of fatigue," she reported. "We're implementing a rotation system to allow them to rest in shifts, but maintaining constant control over the wormhole's gravitational field is taking its toll." Joseph nodded, his respect for the alien beings growing. "You're doing incredible work, Nixera. Keep it up." A ping from another console drew Joseph's attention. Supreme Commander Vex Thor's face appeared, his expression a mix of triumph and concern. "Earth Command, we've successfully altered Mercury's orbit," the Zeraxian reported. "The planet is out of immediate danger from the singularity. However, the gravitational stresses have caused significant changes to its surface. We're seeing the formation of massive canyons and mountain ranges." Joseph absorbed this information, his mind already racing ahead to future implications. "Understood, Commander. We'll need to consider a long-term plan for stabilizing Mercury once this crisis is over." As Vex Thor acknowledged the order, Joseph turned back to the main display. The wormhole continued to pulse with energy, slowly drawing in the singularity. But the battle was far from won. New challenges arose with each passing moment, and Joseph knew that every decision he made could tip the balance between salvation and destruction. He watched as Miranda's expedition team prepared for their perilous journey to the wormhole's exit point, while on Earth, Darius and his team raced to implement their energy redistribution network. At Jupiter, Harper and his engineers fought against the planet's raging storms, and on the Moon, Nyxra and the gravitic manipulators worked tirelessly to maintain the wormhole's stability. The fate of Earth, of the entire galaxy, hung in the balance, and as Joseph Walker stood at the helm of humanity's greatest challenge, he knew that the true test of their ingenuity, courage, and drive was only just beginning. The singularity continued its inexorable journey towards the wormhole, the fate of humanity hanging in the balance. As Joseph Walker watched the cosmic drama unfold on the main display, a priority transmission cut through the cacophony of alarms and status reports. Colonel Miranda Hawkins' face appeared on screen, her features taut with urgency. "Commander Walker, we've successfully deployed the gravitational stabilizers at the wormhole's exit point," she reported, her voice crackling with static. "But, sir, we've made an unexpected discovery." Joseph leaned forward, his brow furrowing. "Go on, Colonel." "There's an ancient predecessor outpost near the exit point," Miranda continued, her eyes wide with excitement and apprehension. "Our scans are picking up faint energy signatures. It appears to be partially operational." Joseph's mind raced with the implications. A functioning predecessor facility could be a game-changer, potentially providing crucial insights or technology to aid their current crisis. "Colonel, I want you to investigate that outpost immediately," he ordered. "Maintain the gravitational stabilizers, but prioritize exploring and analyzing the facility." "Understood, sir." Miranda nodded, purpose etched on her face. Joseph turned to his communications officer. "Get me Dr. Marcus Reeves. We need a xenoarchaeology expert on this. Now!" As the officer scrambled to make contact, Joseph's attention was drawn to a sudden tremor that shook Unity Station. Arya's avatar flickered to life beside him. "Alert! Planetary Defense System activation, causing unforeseen consequences," the AI reported. "Earth's rotational speed is increasing at an alarming rate." Joseph's stomach dropped. He opened a channel to Victor Darius on Earth. "Darius, what's the situation down there?" Victor's face appeared, streaked with sweat and grime. "It's chaos, Walker. The accelerated rotation is wreaking havoc on weather patterns and tectonic stability. We're seeing hurricanes forming over deserts, earthquakes in previously stable zones." "Can you counteract it?" Joseph asked, his voice tight with concern. Victor nodded, his eyes blazing with drive. "My team and I are working on it. We're using our enhanced abilities to manually adjust the planet's rotational speed. It's not elegant, but it's all we've got right now." As Joseph acknowledged Victor's efforts, another alarm blared through the command center. Jack Harper's hologram materialized, his face a mask of tension. "Walker, we've got a critical situation at Jupiter," Harper reported. "The energy draw from the core has reached dangerous levels. We're risking the destabilization of the entire planet." Joseph's mind raced through possible solutions. "What are our options, Jack?" Harper's hologram flickered as he worked unseen controls. "I'm initiating a procedure to tap into the Great Red Spot's energy. It's risky, but it might provide the power we need to maintain the cosmic siphon's operation." "Do it," Joseph commanded, knowing the stakes were too high for hesitation. As Harper's image faded, Joseph turned his attention to the moon base. Nyxra's face appeared on screen, her alien features alight with a newfound intensity. "Earth Command, we've made a breakthrough," she reported. "The gravitic manipulator's abilities extend beyond simple manipulation. We can create localized pockets of altered space-time. Joseph leaned forward, intrigued. How can we use this? I'm training a select group of your human scientists to work alongside us, Nixer explained. By combining our knowledge, we're developing new techniques to stabilize the wormhole. As Joseph processed this information, Unity's station shuddered again, more violently this time. Arya's voice cut through the chaos. Critical systems failure detected. Initiating emergency reconfiguration protocol. Joseph watched in astonishment as Unity's station began to physically separate, breaking apart into smaller, more maneuverable segments. Each module maintained a network link, coordinating their efforts even as they adapted to the gravitational distortions. Amidst the unfolding crises, General Blackwood's gruff voice came through on the comm channel. Walker, we've got a new problem. The magnetic field disruptions are affecting the Van Allen radiation belts. We're seeing increased cosmic radiation exposure planetside. Joseph's mind raced through potential solutions. What's your plan, General? We're mobilizing teams to construct electromagnetic shielding arrays, Blackwood replied. We're using tech derived from the predecessor artifacts. It's our best shot at protecting the population. As Joseph acknowledged the general's efforts, a new data stream appeared on his console. The void energy dispersal units were functioning as intended, but the released energy was coalescing into smaller, unpredictable entities in the space surrounding the wormhole's path. Arya, deploy automated drone ships equipped with miniaturized Prometheus field generators, Joseph ordered. We need to contain and neutralize these void entities before they become a significant threat. As Arya carried out his instructions, Joseph found himself at the center of a cosmic storm, coordinating efforts across the solar system and beyond. The wormhole operation continued, but with each passing moment, new challenges arose, threatening to overwhelm them. Yet even as the situation grew more complex, Joseph Walker steeled himself for the decisions that lay ahead, knowing that the fate of Earth, and perhaps the entire galaxy, rested on his shoulders. Shoulders! Time was running out, and the fate of humanity hung in the balance. A priority alert flashed on Joseph's console, drawing his attention away from the myriad crises unfolding across the solar system. It was a transmission from Colonel Miranda Hawkins at the predecessor outpost near the wormhole's exit point. Commander Walker. Miranda's voice crackled through the speakers, her tone urgent and filled with a mixture of awe and trepidation. We've made a groundbreaking discovery. The outpost. It contains information about Earth. Sir, it appears our planet was designated as a high-priority containment zone by the predecessors. Joseph's breath caught in his throat. The implications were staggering. Explain, Colonel. As Miranda began to elaborate, Joseph's mind raced. He quickly opened a secure channel to his top advisors, knowing that this revelation could change everything. Team, we need an emergency meeting. Now, he ordered, his voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. Within moments, holographic projections of key personnel materialized around Joseph. Dr. Marcus Reeves, the xenoarchaeology expert, appeared alongside Victor Darius, Jack Harper, and Nixera. General Blackwood's gruff visage joined them, his expression grim. As Miranda shared her findings, the atmosphere in the virtual meeting became charged with tension. The implication that humanity struggles against the void and their rapid technological advancements might have been part of a cosmic experiment was almost too much to comprehend. Before they could fully process this earth-shattering information, Arya's avatar flickered to life, her expression uncharacteristically urgent. Critical alert. The wormhole structure is destabilizing. Collapse imminent. Estimated time to singularity release, 37 minutes. Joseph's mind kicked into overdrive. They needed a plan, and they needed it now. Arya, initiate Operation Phoenix, he commanded, his voice filled with perseverance. As Arya began implementing the multi-pronged emergency protocol, Joseph turned to his team. Jack, I need you to overload the cosmic siphon at Jupiter. We need to force that singularity through the wormhole before it collapses. Harper's hologram nodded grimly. Understood. But, sir, this will likely destroy the facility. Jupiter itself might not survive. We have no choice, Joseph replied, the weight of the decision evident in his voice. Do it. Turning to Victor Darius, Joseph continued. Victor, I need you and Marcus Graves to coordinate with the Terran purists. Use your enhanced abilities to stabilize Earth's rotation and magnetic field. Create a planet-wide Prometheus field if you have to. Darius's eyes gleamed with drive. We're on it, Walker. You'll see auroras like never before. Joseph then addressed Nixera. What's the status of your research with the human scientists? The alien's features lit up with excitement. We've had a breakthrough. By combining our gravitic manipulator abilities with predecessor technology found in the lunar core, we've created a device capable of generating a controlled, localized time dilation field. Perfect, Joseph nodded. Deploy it at the wormhole's entrance. We need to buy every second we can. As the team dispersed to carry out their tasks, Joseph reopened the channel to Miranda and Dr. Reeves at the predecessor outpost. Colonel Doctor, I need you to scour that facility for anything that can help us. Look for activation sequences, power sources, anything. Sir, Miranda's voice came through, tinged with excitement. We've found something. There's a dormant activation sequence here. It looks like it was designed to trigger when humanity reached a certain level of cosmic awareness. Joseph didn't hesitate. Activate it. Now. As Miranda and Dr. Reeves worked to initiate the sequence, Joseph turned his attention back to the main display. Unity Station shuddered as the wormhole's instability increased. The separated modules of the station realigned, forming a massive array under Arya's guidance. Across the solar system, Joseph's plan unfolded with breathtaking speed. At Jupiter, Jack Harper initiated the cosmic siphon's overload, channeling an unprecedented surge of energy towards the wormhole. The gas giant's stormy surface roiled with new intensity as the massive power draw began to affect its very structure. On Earth, the sky erupted in a dazzling display of auroras as Victor Darius and the Terran purists exerted their combined will on a planetary scale. The network of energy redistribution nodes pulsed with power, linking the enhanced humans into a living, global Prometheus field. At the moon base, Nixera and her team launched their time dilation device towards the wormhole's entrance. The fabric of space-time visibly warped around the wormhole's maw as the device took effect, creating a bubble of slowed time. And at the predecessor outpost, Miranda and Dr. Reeves activated the ancient sequence. A massive pulse of energy erupted from the facility, racing back through the wormhole towards the solar system. On Unity Station, Joseph watched as the cosmic drama unfolded. The wormhole fluctuated wildly, its edges blurring as the various forces acted upon it. The partially absorbed singularity hung at its threshold, caught between the inexorable pull of the wormhole and the rapidly failing containment field. Arya's avatar appeared beside Joseph, her expression intense. Incoming energy pulse detected, realigning station modules to focus and amplify. Unity Station's reconfigured modules hummed with power as they captured the energy pulse from the predecessor outpost. The station became a colossal lens, focusing the ancient energy and directing it towards Earth in a brilliant beam of shimmering light. As the beam struck Earth's atmosphere, the planet-wide Prometheus field flared with renewed intensity. The combined energies of the cosmic siphon's overload, the global Prometheus field, the time dilation device, and the predecessor pulse created a moment of cosmic synchronicity. Joseph held his breath as he watched the wormhole's maw widen, accepting the full mass of the singularity. In a spectacular display visible across the solar system, The collapsed void entity was finally drawn completely into the wormhole. But the danger wasn't over. The wormhole began to rapidly contract, threatening to close before the operation was complete. Joseph's hands gripped the command console, his fists clenched with tension as he watched the cosmic forces battle for supremacy. As the wormhole collapsed, a final surge of energy washed over Earth and its inhabitants. Joseph's comm channels exploded with reports from across the globe of people experiencing a collective moment of enlightenment, their latent abilities awakening and connecting them to something greater. The wormhole gave a final, violent shudder before imploding with a silent flash of light. In its wake, the solar system fell eerily quiet, as if holding its breath. Joseph exhaled slowly, his mind struggling to process the enormity of what had just occurred. He opened a channel to his team, his voice hoarse with emotion. "Status report. Is everyone okay?" As responses began to filter in, Joseph turned his gaze towards Earth. The planet seemed different somehow, its very essence altered by the cosmic events that had just transpired. He knew that the repercussions of this day would echo through human history for generations to come. But there was no time to rest. As reports of awakening abilities and strange phenomena flooded in from Earth, Joseph realized that their greatest challenge might be just beginning. Humanity had survived, but at what cost? And what would they become in the aftermath of this cosmic awakening?
You have reached the end of the story. If you enjoyed this story and want to support us, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel, and for every comment that says 88, I will heart every single one of them. Thank you for your time.